looks like the stream is back. I'm going to blame my ISP on this one again. I didn't get a chance to see too much about what was going on with OBS, but... Okay. I'm going to have to reset my chat. Okay, the exception. Thank you very much for that host. Not that host, that resubscription. I took the money and ran. 4 months, I think it said. I really do appreciate that, and it sounds like somebody used some emotes in the chat. Whoever did that, thank you very much. If somebody could just confirm that they're seeing... Jess said welcome back. I'm assuming you guys can see what's in there. It says I have 0 viewers, so that sort of sucks. But I don't think we've lost the host. This is going to be a little bit difficult for the YouTube video, by the way, so apologies for that. Although I suppose it means that the introduction is a little bit shorter than before. Okay. Let's try and get things back on track. Okay, awesome. So the exception, if you didn't hear that before, thank you very much for your resubscription. And you can check the VOD for the full thing. Very nice. I'm very happy that you're combining the emotes in the canonically correct way. And just a reminder, guys, if you'd like to know who made those emotes, or perhaps if you're looking for emotes yourself, the lovely Eyes of Sin is the one who's responsible for that. So, Mr. Alden, the supervisor of records, has called me into his office to recognize my diligence. I watch the mole on his neck as he talks and talks and talks. But at the end of it, I have a promotion. My new position is better paid and the desk stands by the street window, but I work directly for Mr. Alden now, and Mr. Alden is known to be exacting, so I have some money, and I've got my position at Glover & Glover, but where is my reason? Well, it's dimmed. So this is a cool thing that's been added in the Harbinger's build, which is that you lose some of your abilities as you go by, which I think is probably going to mean that it's just generally going to be harder to upgrade. It used to be that, you know, you do manual labor and you just sort of like rip through your you'd rip through your health upgrades, whereas now it's a little bit more challenging. She didn't make you. Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. Apologies if there was any confusion about that. All right, back to Glover & Glover. I am better paid than I was, but Mr. Alden has taken an interest in me. Mr. Alden is very particular. Mr. Alden likes things done just so, and Mr. Alden has never believed that I am qualified for this position. So in the meantime, we've got the place behind desire. Is there something to be learnt from the satisfaction of desire? We've got the watchman's footsteps, so our temptation enlightenment is intact. We've gained restlessness. A restless longing has me. I feel I want to do something, but what exactly? Now this is important. This is something I'm going to be paying a little bit more attention to this playthrough, because I have Forge, Aspect Influence, an Echo, a Resonance Alignment, something that will fade soon, Aspect Lantern, and Aspect Grail. Now, if I don't deal with this, this is going to become Dread, but it occurred to me when I was playing this on my own that Influence is one of these things that you get when you explore the mansis. So I will try, for instance, I don't think the Watchman's Secret will do anything, but let's try studying maybe Restless... Oh, no, I can't do that. Let's maybe try studying an Occult Scrap with... Oh, and I can't put that with... Okay. So, in this case, I don't think I'm going to be able to use my restlessness to any particular end right now, but we'll work on it. I'm also slightly curious. I know that this doesn't work together. Oh, study with... Oh, very interesting. Study with a heart lore fragment of the same level to upgrade it to the next level. Study with Grail lore of the same level to subvert it and get a Forge card instead. That's quite a concession, because I remember when I used to have to combine everything. I knew that you could put it with Forge to upgrade it. I had no idea about the heart thing. That's very cool. I'm really curious what the feedback on that's going to be. Anyways, I have found something noteworthy. I've got Apollo and Marsyas, the libretto of a lost opera concerning the contest between Apollo and Marsyas and its tragic outcome. The librettist is identified only by their initials, RKNJL. And finally, our adversary. In this case, we have Dr. Natalia Dragon. She was left out of academia for her analysis of alternate histories, and it only made her more resolute. Now she works for the Suppression Bureau. So she is meticulous. The hunter always succeeds at creating evidence from notoriety. She is mortal. She is an idealist. Idealists cannot be demoralized, although sometimes their ideals can be turned against them. This is actually very interesting to know. So this is, in one sense, it's telling you what they can't do, but it's also telling you some things that... it's also telling you some strategies that you might employ. For instance, I've never tried to make Wakefield depressed, but perhaps I should. And they're a hunter. The laws of civilization are younger than the laws of the hours, but they too sometimes require a sacrifice. This is an agent of the law. There's always someone who doesn't understand, or who understands too well. This troublemaker may seek evidence on my activities to share with the authorities. All right. So what can we do with our study? Well, we could study Apollo and Marsyas, but seeing as we already have an adversary and we already have some lore, let's study the notes on a potential collaborator. I have a name, a description, a few tantalizing details, but there are 1,000 faces in this city, and so we will seek that. We'll find what's in the place behind desire, and I kind of would like, let's take our passion. We'll go down the moonlit road. I know this dream. A road crests a hilltop, and the air is silver bright. So I'll put the Watchman's Secret in a moment, but... This is something like enlightenment. Okay. So let's take a lantern. And we'll follow the bleached way. I could sleep in a room without colors, bleach the sheets, whitewash the walls, dye my hair, and paint my skin. Now, conveniently, pleasant days coming by, which means that we'll be able to turn this restlessness into... we'll take it out of... it'll cease to be a problem, basically. So we've got dread right now. And now I have an address. I'll dispatch a letter and propose a meeting. So we gained our mystique. This is our... Oh, this is a... Some days are better than others, and sometimes the skull is nothing like a filthy sheet. Sometimes the river runs clear. Okay, so Alden wants some reason. The work is complete when I have assessed the work is complete, and not before. I trust we understand each other. And the bleached way... Color exists only where there is light, and wood is in the place where light does not walk. In the dream, I close my eyes and walk, stumbling, bruising my feet and knees. At last, the undergrowth before me grows too thick to pass, and when I open my eyes, I am adrift among black trees. Shadows flutter. My feet will know the way back to this place. And so the use of our lore here has given us a way. Now, interestingly, these weren't always timed. So this is another influence, aspect moth, ingi rum imus nocte et consumi snip snip snip, second order influence, apparent to the perceptive, instantly recognizable to an adept. This can be used in some rites to summon minions, so we don't have any rites yet. It doesn't do anything on its own. And we need to let our passion recharge, and we've got our way to the wood. Hello, ego. I've learned the path to the wood, the tangled darkness that grows around the walls of the mansis, though the mansis has no walls. I can dream with this to return to the wood. But before we do that, let's dream about our dread. I remember that I was different, but I can't yet remember how. Dread can be restored to reason with the correct resource. So this is aspect ill health, aspect of edge 2. This is a very interesting idea here, of course. I've seen too much. A nameless gnawing has its teeth in my hopes, an existential horror. So the thing that's really interesting here is that dread is still considered an ingredient, which of course is a really, I think in some ways, a very positive sort of a message, which is you can turn negative things into positives. And while I think I've lost some of my writing ability, I remember one thing that originally got me into academic study was I didn't always feel very good. And I found that I really got something out of reading. I mean, I originally started with philosophy, which is kind of a natural place to go. But I really I made an effort of it. And I think one thing that helped was, I would read things, and to understand them, I would write them down. And I found that that gave me some good practice to become a better writer. And I'm trying to be a little more regular with writing so I can get back to a point where I can feel like I'm a good writer again. But these things sometimes take time. So, all right, so here we can combine that with contentment. I'm curious if it tells me it does. I need a little peace or a moment of happiness. Too much dread will destroy you. Contentment can cure it. I remember that I was different before. And this has the aspect of the heart and lantern. In the meantime, I can study something, but what do I study? I don't seem to have a whole lot of options here. Can we study the way to the wood? We cannot. So what shall we do instead? My passion is currently exhausted, but let's study passion again so that I can use the 2 glimmering. And in the meantime, we'll take another trip to Moreland's shop with a few pennies in our hands, and we'll buy a book, much like a famous character was introduced in a bookshop in a certain spy movie that I started showing, The Lady Quill. Alright, the reply to your letter is courteous if cautious. They are intrigued by how you found their name, intrigued enough to meet you. Oh, not a problem at all, K5, and please remind me to, if I haven't shouted you out when you come back, I will be sure to do that. I'll be sure to do that when you're there. I'll save it, though. Okay, so we've got a hanger-on. And by the way, I feel John is boring, so in recognition of his growing powers, he goes back in time and renames himself to Julian. Although that may not be spelled correctly. Alright, well this is going to be a bit of a modest cult, but let's talk to our hanger-on, and here we can found a mystical organization. Here is someone who I might work with, a companion or a follower, but first I must give them something to follow, a society, a sodality, and an order, a cult. And actually I can study Apollo and Marsyas, so... No, I was going to... How much longer do we have on the passion? Yeah, we'll hold back. Alright, so now we've gained notoriety, which is going to be a problem with the doctor. I've begun my true work. The authorities will take an interest in it. I must be ready for them. You have begun to establish your cult. You will need a little more time before you can recruit followers. Alright, we're losing a few timers here, so we've worked overtime at Mr. Alden's assistance. On this occasion, I've determined that your work is of an acceptable standard. You may go. Be punctual tomorrow, please. So, we will continue to grind at Glover and Glover. Found something noteworthy, a collection of essays. This will be particularly helpful for me in a little while, so let's jump back into Moreland's and continue our exploration. Yes, this is the brand new one, Ego, and it's the first time I'm playing it. Okay, so we need a founding principle, and we will use the Watchman's Secret for this, an occult society dedicated to the understanding of the light that leaks from a fiercer place. We could alternatively do the Society of St. Hydra, as an occult society dedicated to the study of the 5 histories and their 1,000 demi-real branches, which sounds cool, but honestly, who would not be a member of the Mirror of Glory? Who would not want to dedicate their life to the understanding of the light that leaks from a fiercer place? I would say that you are an individual of low moral character if you would not dedicate your life to such a noble pursuit. And I will be watching every single one of your VODs to see what founding principles you choose. A trembling in the air, the sun flickers like a shadow, dreams ripple behind the surface of mirrors. I must be careful not to drift from the waking world. Fascination may provoke visions. I'm sorry, Jess, do you have a different favorite founding cult? Terrible clarity. Our purpose demands we recognize truths that chill the spirit. I must give of myself. Now, I'm not quite ready to give up reason because that's going to cause Alden to come and punch me. So in the meantime, I'm going to read sentimental literature in order to try and improve my passion. If I propose to learn anything, I wouldn't be reading this stuff. Now that's going to take 60 seconds, so we're just going to be hitting the edge on the time, but we'll be okay. Clear my mind. The sun still moves, the wind walks, my journals are the labyrinth clue, except. Now, I think actually we should make a, if you can give me a second, guys, I'm just going to open a notepad. I know this doesn't always make for the best VOD or even the best stream material, but I have found it very helpful to take notes while playing the game in order to give some notes. So right now, the text for Dread says that you can regain reason. And I think wisely they decided that they no longer wanted it to do that, but I think the current text is a bit misleading. So please forgive me. I will only be a moment in okay. So we'll try not to delay the stream too many times for that, but it's nice. I mean, if you guys are interested in this game, it's best to have it in the best state at the start of on release. So hey, we've got a collection of poetry that will be rather helpful in just a moment. So we'll continue to add to our library. We're getting a little short on funds, but nothing to get too alarmed about. I am a little worried about this notoriety, but there's nothing that I can do about it at the moment. But let's use an occult scrap. Let's see if we can find more people to join our merry band. All right, so contentment and a fleeting memory. All right, I've got my reason back. Now, as much as I would love to employ it into something else, I'm probably going to need it for Alden in a minute. Fleeting memory, aspect moth, aspect secret histories, and it's an ingredient. I'll have to remember that. All right, Alden wants a sacrifice of time. Morelands has traveling at night. Let's put that on another batch. I think we'll do one more trip. I'm sorry I'm being so paranoid on the pausing, but I do want to make sure I don't lose my glimmering. Something turned over. All right, here we go. So I've got my passion back. In this case, it seems that this is actually an interesting idea here, where if you use it at Glover and Glover, oh, this is an interesting idea. No, it just takes glimmering. I have no idea why you only catch me playing this game. You think you've never made it to any other game. Well, we always stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I try to start somewhere between, ideally 7 and 7:30, but it is sometimes 7 to 8. But honestly, I think this is a very good game to catch me with anyway. So I'll stoke the fires of my imagination. So this is why I've been a little more paranoid with the pausing here, just to make sure that I'm able to do that. What I really want to do is to read my collection of essays, but of course Mr. Alden has a bit of a say on that. And one thing that's actually kind of interesting about the way that this is working at the moment is the game is so notice here that I don't actually exhaust my passion by studying. I only exhaust it by working. So it definitely is giving me a fairly strong reason to, to focus on things like, it's giving me a fairly strong reason to focus on things that actually move me towards my goals. Of course, my goal is enlightenment, and I haven't really been thinking about that a lot, but we'll get there. All right, employ passion to enter the wood, or with the right lore, find a way to the white door, the door where the dead throng. Now, I have found a way to some of the other areas, but I don't remember them, so that'll be another thing that we try and do during this playthrough. Now I pass between the scar-barked trees. The moon passes behind the branches. Through her fingers, though her fingers remain in my hair, I am stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. And we will carry on. Once again, I've determined that your work is of an acceptable standard. You may go. Be punctual tomorrow, please. Back to Glover and Glover. Nope. Looks like... the acquaintance wants me to come with them. So we've got the Orchid Transfigurations for our trouble. We may not make it to the woods, though. You know what? Let's go to it. Let's take another trip to Moorlands. Nope, and the Watchman's footsteps. The hunger grows in my brain, hunger for knowledge. The Watchman, who is the door in the eye, awaits my dreams. If I learn the lantern lore, I can dream of this temptation. I can advance my purpose. The need gnaws at me. And we've regained restlessness. Oh, thank you for saying so, Ego. But yeah. That's, I will also mention, so I've gotten some great feedback from people that they do tend to experience the stream through YouTube. And so I'm trying to be a little more prompt in uploading the YouTube content, or at least being a little bit more regular with it. And for Cultist Simulator, I am actually debating on doing some YouTube specific content for that. But that's going to be coming up in a little while. I have an essay that I need to finish writing. Oh, by the way, Jess, did you see, I know I sent you the essay. Did you get a chance to take a look at it? Okay, so we've got the buzzing in the brain. Here is the mansis. We've got the glory. We've got the trice-cupid gate, the chamber of ways, the spider door, the Mallory. Sorry, this is one of the things about playing these wonderful Weather Factory games. Or in this case, there's a single Weather Factory game, but there's more cool stuff coming. And I will say, you definitely learn some terms and words that you haven't seen before. I understand. Here's the War Museum, the Peacock Door, the Red Church, the Ascent of Knives. I have made it to the Stag Door. I've also made it to the White Door. And at the White Door, that will lead to the Orchard of Lights, or the Lodge of the Sage Knight. So... Now, this seems to be something that depreciates, so let's take a look. We can go to the Temple of the Wheel or the Well. Let's start with the Temple of the Wheel, and for our trouble, we've got Vitality. Sounds good to me. So let's see if I can make something of that with my health. Nope, we've got our reason back. Sorry, I just need to make a decision. I don't know if I'll actually gain any Vitality from that, if I'm honest. Okay, so we've got the Victory of Crowns. This is more lore that we can study. I'll read all that in a minute. As far as study's concerned, yeah, I needed more Vitality. You know what? Adding my health to study would have improved that, probably. Okay, so what do I want to do? Well, I've exhausted my passion. Oh, actually, so I sort of misspoke. The game doesn't universally reward you for exploring things. So I do exhaust my passion by going to the mansis, but then that also sort of makes sense because I don't know, I don't think it makes sense to just constantly loop through the dream world. So what do I want to do with my study? Well, you know what, I think let's see what Mr. Alden wants. If he doesn't want my reason, then I'll study my reason. And if he does want my reason, then we'll study one of these books. He wants my reason. Alright, so we've got some passion for my trouble. We've got additional mystique. We've got an occult scrap, which is something that we had before. Hang on. Oh, yes. So I'll put this a little bit higher. And Neville! Everyone's favorite cultist. Potential cultist. He's not a member of the cult yet. Let's toss our occult scrap in again, see if we can get a few more bodies in the cult. All right. No health left. My life is slipping away. Now that's going to be a drawback for my early night. This is going to be particularly difficult to deal with, but we'll see. We'll see if we can manage. Mr. Alden will get his attention for overtime. I've got some dread. I don't have any contentment to neutralize it with. I will eventually have some health that this can gobble up, but the vitality is going to be a bit short, so my reason is dimmed working there. More money, and we'll go back to Glover and Glover. passions back. And we've got a fleeting memory, which doesn't do a lot for me right now. So we'll see what we can do about the sickness. Vitality's slipping away, sadly. Uh-oh. And there's my notoriety, which will turn into some evidence. Okay, so we've got our affliction now. If we dream about an affliction, we can get some medicine. So it's a good idea that we didn't go to Glover and Glover. We had actually more time with the vitality than we thought. But anyways, the medicine is dark and bitter as tar. It would be easy to suspect that I am being poisoned. But it will make me better. The city is rife with journalists and detectives and other meddlers. I'm safe for now. The meddlers' attention must be elsewhere. A relief. Ah, excellent. So it looks like they got Mystique instead. They remember who I am. Mystique may attract the attention of hunters, but they can't use it to build a case against you. It will encourage them to look harder. So I still think they're going to find the notoriety, to be honest, but we'll see how that turns out. Got my reason back. Let's YOLO it. Oh, Mr. Alden's gonna get mad. Perils of renown. My mystique has attracted the hunter's attention. They can prove nothing yet, but they'll keep looking for longer now. Alright. So the reason why I'm doing this is I want to get my erudition up so that I can level up my essays. Alright, so we've got passion back, additional mystique. Another occult scrap. We've got another hanger on. Let's just throw people back into the problem. I would like to say that I'm disappointed, but my expectations for you are already low. I have no choice but to withhold a portion of your prey. You may go, but be punctual tomorrow, please. Alright. Alden's probably going to get disappointed again, but you know what? We'll deal with it. The sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. Now let's see if I can knock out a quick vitality out of this. So I've got my reason up. Oh, but I want to get my erudition up as well, so... Well, hang on, let's think about this. So I've got 60 seconds on my vitality. If I study my health, fresh air and exercise, long walks kill cobwebs, so that should help me get my additional health. My erudition's going to last 179 seconds. It's possible that I can also use it to make Alden happy. In the meantime, let's use our passion on the moonlit road. I know this dream. The road crests a hilltop, and the air is silver bright. Alright. My mystique has attracted this hunter's attention. They can prove nothing. Okay, yeah. So let's... I'm already working on getting another individual. We're just going to do an ordinary dream. Starting to run out of money, so it may be a good idea to employ my reason at Glover and Glover. We'll be a little tight, but I think we can probably get the erudition in. Alright, so I've got 30 seconds. You know what? I messed up. Oh, I don't think I messed up. Okay, I am going to put the reason towards this. Okay, so there's our health and vitality. If I put my vitality in study, and then a second vitality, alright, there we go. Health is restored. The passion's going to do what I want, and... Alright, so I'm certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor or with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. This is troubling. So it turns out the tentative evidence now has a timer. The hunters found evidence, real or imagined, of my sins. Hunters with evidence become more dangerous. Okay, so in the meantime, once again, I have determined that your work is to an acceptable standard. You may go, but be punctual tomorrow, please. So I've dimmed my reason for now. That's going to be out of commission for a little bit. We've got some money, which we needed, and I'm going to go straight back to Glover and Glover. This may not be the smartest thing in the world, because they're likely going to want to eat my reason, and I'm going to use my reason for the erudition, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, exhausted my passion, which actually got me additional vitality, rather unexpectedly. And... More mystique, an occult scrap, and Slee, an acquaintance. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound, let's continue talking about esoteric matters. Again, I don't want to sacrifice my reason to the cult yet, just because I am trying to get my erudition up. Alright, there's more health. And we've gained the skill of stronger physique, so that means that it's going to be a little harder for me to improve my physique over time. I'm not quite sure what else I can do with Mystique right now. Okay, so let's think a little bit about this. It's going to take me 33 seconds to bring erudition back up, so I don't think a study session is going to take care of that. What happens if I throw it in here? I need 2 erudition. If I do a collection of essays, insight, still need another erudition, so I think this is going to be a lost cause. So you know what? I'm still going for it. In this case, we're going to double up the reason. And Cloud's part, even the wolf's despair prowls. The wolf's despair prowls elsewhere. No dread or injury empowers this despair. It's over for now. Okay, so Alden had no extra work. Excellent news. I still intend on disappointing him, but let's go back to the mansis to see if we can get anything fancy. And sadly, there's not a lot we can do with the cult right now, just because, again, if I give up the reason, then the job at G&G becomes harder. Of course, the drawback, I could potentially use a cult member to, create a little difficulty for Mr. Alden, but perhaps that's not the done thing quite yet. Okay, again, you only YOLO once, so I'm pretty sure he's going to want us to do something extra, but I do not believe that you've properly understood the importance of our work here. This task will require your full attention. Add reason to satisfy Mr. Alden. Oh no, no, no! Back into the mansis. So we've got a peculiar rumor. Let's go to the well. And from the well, we have gained a furtive truth. A detail smuggled in from an adjacent narrative. Don't speak this where you may be overheard. Exploring with a scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations in the Shires. Alright, so we've got our furtive truth. I don't have a lore section yet. This should be a tier 2. Okay, let's change the books around. I've exhausted my passion for now, and there's our way to the wood again. Oop, okay. I'd like to say that I'm disappointed, but my expectations of you were already low. I have no choice but to withhold a portion of your pay. You may go. Be punctual tomorrow, please. Okay. So where are we sitting right now? Well, we've got another potential cultist, so we will restore our passion. Put more mystique in. We've got our occult scrap back, and we have got Enid. Who are these people? Enid speaks softly, and sometimes her gaze doesn't focus on anything visible. It may be that you've dreamed the same dreams. Craig Slee, the astronomer and avant-garde poet, has developed an interest in the esoteric as his health wanes. Neville pauses before he speaks and flinches easily. He laughs whenever he thinks you've made a joke. Usefully malleable, but they'll probably never amount to much, and I may be able to recruit them as a follower. Alright, so what do we want to do? Well, let's just continue using the occult scrap, which we didn't do the writing for. Secret histories are layered beneath the one that we know, like notes in a rare wine. This is a detail from one of those histories. So there are other uses for the occult scraps, but right now I'm using them to try and get some potential people to join up. And I think I'll use passion again. They're gonna be looking pretty hard, but okay. So we've got my 2 erudition. Now I'm gonna do something unexpected here. I'm actually gonna gobble up the 2 erudition right away. I can also do that with the collection of essays, but I want to try and get like the raw bonus out of the way, and then I can use the essays a little bit later. So I think they're just going to keep looking with Mystique, so as long as I don't get any notoriety, I should be okay for the next little while. And I'm going to hold off on my funds for, or on using up any funds for the next little while, just to make sure that I don't have anything too, I don't have anything too difficult to work with. I probably should put the way of the wood in here. Now I pass between the scar. Oh, we've read that before. I should probably focus on the task at hand. All right. Looks like I found a patron instead, so Alden's gonna be a little upset with me. All right, so we can get an easy occult scrap. I think we're gonna go for that. No despair to speak of at the moment, so that's good. And I've gained... Oh, there's my additional reason to sacrifice on the altar of commerce. So this is going to be nice because I'm going to have one reason that I can employ at Glover and Glover, and I'm going to have one that I can put towards other ends, which is convenient for now. So I'm still holding off on founding the cult, but that's just so that I can get things a little bit more balanced in terms of my stats. One of the things, incidentally, if you guys are just starting off, you may find it interesting to play the Bright Young Thing start, because in some ways it forces you to be a little, it forces you to do a little bit more right away. And so in some way, like for me, I'm a very conservative kind of player. We can learn so much from each other. Madame Bichet. Okay, so let's keep studying my reason. So one of the things that I noticed was the Bright Young Thing actually helps me do a little bit more, basically. It gives me more reasons to do things at the start. She's seeking pieces for the notorious Kersham Review. Mr. Alden has found nothing to criticize in my work today. He does not look up as I leave, so back to work. I've gained some contentment. Now I don't have any dread, so nothing to worry about there. And she needs a commission on Moth, which I don't have any of yet, but we'll keep that there. And who do I want to talk to? Well, you know what? We'll use another occult scrap to see if we can get another one. The Alistair Crowley start. Welcome back, K5. Sorry, you Houdini ran to make dinner. Totally fine, Eyes of Sin. I don't take attendance, although your presence is missed because it's such a delight, but it's also perfectly understandable when it's not there. So, all right, so a little bit more erudition. We'll toss it back into the study. I hope dinner is good. And you know what? Let's take a quick minute here for a few shout-outs. So we've got, well, I'll start with K5. So K5, as I mentioned, is somebody who's been streaming Cultist Simulator recently. And he, again, somebody I've actually gotten to know more so because I played Surviving Mars. Is a really nice community. It's a bunch of people who have definitely contributed whenever they visited. It was a delight to meet him originally. And then, of course, visiting his own stream certainly has a talent in his own right. So I was very happy to see... I am not going to satisfy Mr. Alden, unfortunately. Alright, so still tentative evidence. We will eventually find something to do with the good doctor, but we'll leave that to be for now. In any case, I can definitely say if you guys are attracted to Cultist Simulator, one of the things that's been so rewarding about this game, of course, is the fact that for me, I found it was a game that I really sort of clicked with. It was something that I enjoyed quite a bit. It was something that I felt I understood. You know what? We'll put the reason into the... All right, my first recruit. A cult with one member is only an unusual habit. I must have a recruit. Neville, you're up. So, Obviously, when somebody connects with the game in a way that I sort of can recognize for myself, I want to obviously take the time to shout them out. So definitely, if you are interested in Cultist Simulator, K5 is somebody I would recommend checking out. On top of that, we've got some other people. We've got the Eyes of Sin, who I mentioned as an artist, somebody who made my channel emotes. So again, there's a couple of resubs recently. Jesse Quill recently resubbed. We had the exception today, as well as there was one other. Sorry, where's my stats? Oh, maybe it was just Jess in the exception. It was the Eyes of Sin herself. Sorry. That's why I was struggling with it. The Eyes of Sin also resubscribed today, and she is able to use the emotes that she herself made. Get a commission from Dr. Al-Adim. On top of that, she's somebody who I tweeted out today in terms of her her art portfolio. One of the things that's interesting is she is very, I'll almost say, modest with her art. She's somebody who has got a tremendous talent, and somebody I like some of the, actually really like some of the little stories behind her art, whether she's specifically said them or some of the implications by what's depicted in them. She is a very good streamer in her own right. I still won't forget the time that she played Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery, which is a wonderful Canadian iPad game, which I tremendously enjoyed. I was so happy to find somebody else who liked playing it. She's been practicing a little bit of voice acting recently, so if you guys ask her very nicely, I'm sure she will be able to share that with you as well. And she's somebody who's been a wonderful supporter of this stream, both in terms of just the encouragement that she gives me, as well as her contributions through things such as emotes. So she's, she's a great gal. I definitely recommend checking out her stream. And she was playing Stardew Valley the last time I watched her, but I think she's played something else in the meantime. And finally, last but not least, Jesse Quill is back home. Jesse Quill is obviously my only official mod. She is a tremendously talented Twitch broadcaster. She's really the sort of person, I always like to say that she's the person who the bigger streamers watch when they're on their downtime. She has been involved in many communities, and so I'm very lucky to have her as a mod. She brings a tremendous amount of experience, really more experience than a small channel like this needs. But as you guys know, I find backseating to be completely intolerable, and every time that she's here, she's able to manage that very well. So I'm definitely indebted to her for... Hello? Oh, okay. Yes. I thought I was missing a stronger physique. Definitely as a member of this community, she is tremendous and somebody who is very deeply valued, but that is to undersell her talents as a broadcaster. She's somebody who has not just brought up casters like myself and Johnny Big Time and others, but she's somebody who really has a clear idea about what she streams well. She does a lot of work for charity. She's streaming for St. Jude at the moment. She went to their summit in Memphis. I think one of the things that she's most talented at is story-based games, so I think whether she does... It'd be interesting to see her do Sunless Sea if she's interested. But I know she's done Cultist Simulator, and I think she would like to do that again in the future. And she has done games like The Last of Us, which are games that I don't get to play myself, but I do get to enjoy watching her. And one of the reasons why her story-based games are so memorable is that she really does bring some of herself into that. She will explain either a paper that she's read that explains a character's motivations. She'll talk about why she thinks characters made the decision that they did. She'll talk about her own experience. And one of the things that I like, she's one of the people who I can disagree with her take on a given story, but is somebody who gives me food for thought. So, it's with us, it's going to be a discussion about the decisions that were made, rather than just, no, I don't like that. I don't believe that at all. You're stupid. No, you're stupid. Just as somebody who I can have a conversation about a game and have it be a very reasonable chat, even if it's something that there's a point of contention on. And of course, above all that, I think one of the things that I respect a lot about Jess's ability is she'll definitely pause her cast to talk about certain things, but she'll usually do it in the IRL context. When she plays a game, she does a much better job of sort of keeping things rolling, so she has a much more polished presentation, as well as quite a bit more substance behind what she says. And I think you guys, if you like my cast, I will definitely say you will tremendously enjoy Jess's, but I think the same could be said about... I think the same could be said really about any of these broadcasters that I've mentioned. So anyways, I know some of you guys are here just for the game. These are definitely some people who I would strongly recommend for the very reason that I think if you like games like this, and if you like my content, they are people who you will enjoy watching as well. Alright, so the course of the heart. Whenever the principle of the heart is implicated, I may gain vitality. Let's get rid of that dread first. Alright, so Dr. Aladim would like a commission of the secret histories. You'll need a latching lord fragment of at least 4. Okay, good to know. And Alden wants his reason tax. And I've got a replacement just in case. Alright, so we can definitely satisfy Adim's request. Still got more restlessness. Oops, I blew that. You know what? Let's take a minute and... Hello. If I use work with the right lore fragment. Okay, so either I can't write on... Okay, I'm going to make that note right now. So either this is a bug or they've changed the way that you can write a... Oh, and Docs, I'm sorry if I didn't say hi to you earlier. I know I was in the middle of my shoutouts, but I did see your message earlier. Thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you are well. Okay, so I don't want to uncover any sites yet. I would ideally like to do a commission, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I do have my cult now. So, our rise begins. I have founded my cult. This is a step to a greater power. Use your cult to recruit and promote followers, talk to followers about your cult, and send them out on cult business. So Neville is a believer. Neville pauses before he speaks and flinches easily. He's sensitive to deeper matters. So Neville has the knock. The knock permits no seal and no isolation. It thrusts us gleefully out of the safety of ignorance. I have gained some dread through creating my cult, so that's actually going to be 2 that I have. We've regained the Watchman's secret, which will be important for me. We have a temporary headquarters. Our business is private. We could use somewhere more secret, but that's not available in this build though, so I think that implies that the temporary headquarters will be it for launch, and then in future updates they will add more. Can I really study Neville? Can I explore Neville? Can I work Neville? Keep saying I can. And finally, we've got our logo, the Mirror of Glory, an occult society dedicated to the understanding of the light that leaks from the fiercer place. You can use cults with a talk verb to recruit or promote followers and send them out on errands to gather resources. A believer can be promoted to a disciple, and a few gifted disciples can be exalted even higher to seers. Let's get recruiting. Before I do that. Okay, so it seems all the lore I'm not able to work. This one is ready. Alright, so we're going to recruit people. We're going to work. And in the meantime, I have put this off long enough Let us begin by studying Apollo and Marsyas. The original myth, Marsyas lost a musical contest and was flayed by Apollo, who later regretted it. In this version, Marsyas' skin has a further history. So we've got the sun still moves, the wind walks, my journals are the labyrinth clues. So, bleak thoughts have emerged, dark days, I must be careful not to let doubts creep in. Dread or injury may provoke full-fledged despair. Alright, Enid is now a believer. Enid speaks softly, and sometimes her gaze doesn't focus on anything visible. She sees things that others don't. She also has got the principle of knock. So, Slee. Let's recruit you. We've got our reason back. I actually probably should have done passion. Alright, Alden wants his tax. More dread, that's going to be a problem. I would normally go to buy a book at this point. The Skin of Marsyas gives oracles its... The Skin of Marsyas gives oracles and is later smuggled to Phigria, where the priestesses of Sibyl use it for a drumhead. At the opera's climax, the pounding of the drum drives would-be violators of the priestess to suicidal madness. The opera ends with a wistful hymn from the youngest priestess on the beauty of mountain pines. So, the heart. You can study it with heart lore of the same level, so upgrade to the next level. Study it with Grail lore to subvert it, to get Grail lore instead. As far as occult scraps, what can we do with those? We can study it with more secret histories. Okay, good to know. So what we really want, if we can, Slee speaks earnestly of his theories to all who will listen. The stars are tiny wounds, and the sun as a hemorrhage of glory. His poetry is more eccentric than ever. And finally, we'll add some hangers on, because these are very convenient for dealing with unwanted attention. Let's do the Victory of Crowns. Erratic accounts by one Arun, the hunting and consumption of supposed immortals by shadowy cults of assassins, published in the late 19th century. The assassins are, according to Arun, the agents of power called the Coronal, a soldier of the secret masters. The accounts go all the way back to Roman times. So, if my dread becomes particularly bad, I may actually have to use opium to keep the thoughts at bay. But we'll see. You know, I could try painting. Let's try this. I might get fired. Yep, I'm gonna get fired. I used to paint those sights that I half remember from my dreams. I might sell something. I probably won't. Let's see if I can use money for inspiration again. So I suspect I'm going to get a demotion for this. Alright, so there's another occult scrap. I think I'm going to grab that just because it's a safety choice. Passion is exhausted. I feel like I should have one more. There's our pawn. Back to the Mirror of Glory. Let's convert our final hanger on. And what else did I want to do? Okay, so I've got more occult scraps. I can upgrade that to a Furtive Truth if I would like. Alright. Arun's scholarship is dubious, but she writes pithily. Incidents of sudden and violent death are interspersed with aphorisms. Ours don't dream, long try not to. So we've got the knife secret. When our ancestors forged swords, taught the arts of martial movement, spoke curses on the eve of battle, all of these things shared certain patterns. Use this in a rite with a corpse with winter power, and a corpse will rise. Oh, I didn't realize it. Alright, so I can combine it with another edge lore to upgrade to the next level, and with winter lore of the same level to subvert it and get winter lore. Good to know. It's really interesting to see, now that I can see it explicitly, it's really interesting to see how these relate to each other. Alright, so I've got 1 exhausted passion, but I thought I had 2 passion. Where did I put the other one? Oh, into my painting, that's right. So I did this painting so that I could try and get some contentment for my... That's very cool to hear. Difficulty at work, demotion to a junior position. My absence from the office has been noted. I've been demoted, and I'll need to argue persuasively to keep my job. I found a customer. She'll probably hang it in her spare bedroom and never look at it again, but the money is good. Ah, now that did not give me contentment. Alright, well... Plead to keep my job. This is not a pleasant conversation, but it may be a necessary one. So that was a fairly costly choice that I just made. That's fine. That is a minor setback. Got passion back, so we will follow the moonlit road. And we will continue to make ill-advised choices by speaking of esoteric matters in public, and in the meantime we will seek out secret places in the city. Alright, so there was some contentment that I got from the world as it is. I've been offered another chance. I am apparently expected to be grateful. Yes, so it's the fact that I'm with Alden that causes that timer to be so short. Good to know. Traveling at Night, the annotated dream journals of Christopher Illopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Illopoli's work is literate, entertaining, and bewildering. So they're going to continue their search with additional mystique. I hope I don't gain notoriety from this. But yeah, so K5, I like the fact that this... I mean, so this is what this game is about, right? You know, if you take the cult as being that inspiration that you have, or that mission, or that thing that you want to bring into the world, you know, it's a very, in my view, it's a very rewarding thing. Oh, we have found the Cater and Hero Limited. It's been abandoned since the explosion, when both the owners died. The machine stands silent. The building is a collapsing shell. Mr. Cater was known to display peculiar trinkets in his office. Perhaps some yet remain. But the great thing, so like obviously I look at things from an econ point of view, and the thing that's neat about this is that the competition between Unity and Unreal and Game Maker, it's taken engines from a point where really only studios could pay for the license to a point now where really these tools are available to anyone. And the means of production are quite inexpensive. Now what this means, it doesn't mean that it's easy to make games. It's still very difficult, and the expectations are even higher because of course the resources that people were previously putting into game engines, they're now either putting into art or into, you know, additional programming. I mean, you can look at something like Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice and realize that, you know, this did not require a publisher to create. But it's also very encouraging because we're able to see, so, you know, it's hard to imagine a game like this being made in a time when, you know, you have to get a few different okays. It's not to say it was impossible, but obviously it's more likely now that we get to see small experimental projects like this, and I think it's great to see, you know, whatever you wind up choosing. First of all, programming is a very helpful skill. I used to TA it. I don't actually have a degree in it myself, but I was invited to TA the beginning and intermediate courses. And I think it's wonderful that people have means of expressing themselves that way, and there are sites like itch.io or game jams and such where you'll find an audience that's hungry for new content. So hey, and you found some people who are interested. So the nightmare, the cleansing dawn. Now I can slough off my flesh patch by patch, tugging the tendons free like fibers picked from teeth. My skin lies like a shredded blanket. The sun heaves itself above the horizon with a triumphant battle yell. The light falls like acid on my naked bones. Pain will wake me, and my bones will ache for days, but the sun's words are etched on my bones. So that did not give me contentment. That was the opposite of contentment. Light dews the skin and suffuses the air. A sixth order influence, significant resonances or correspondences. This can be used in some rites to summon minions. So I don't think I can use this. And fascination. Light leaks through the cracks. My mind is brighter than it ever was. The higher I rise, the more I see. Promotion. Mr. Alden, the supervisor of records, has called me into his office. Yeah, it was the same one as before. Okay, so back to work. This time we'll make sure that we're always attending. So I'm curious if I can use this with the cult. I probably won't be able to, but I think I'm going to use one more occult scrap to seek out places in the city. We'll exhaust moorlands when we can. Right. So we gain the Barber's Warning, which normally we would have used for our Moth Commission. The power of the wood enjoys the separation of a lock from the scalp. For attention, burn it. For opportunity, bury it. Speak this over a corpse in a rite with winter influence present, and the corpse will rise. The wood lies outside the walls of the mansis. As any student of the histories knows, the mansis has no walls. So we've got additional erudition, but I don't think we're going to be able to make something of it. So for 175, I can get 2 more out. I'm going to need 4 with scholarship. So we'll try reading the Orc and Transfigurations. It's the last that I have. Apparently I can't read it. Oh, it's probably because it's in Latin. Yes, okay. So I'm out of books to study. But let's dream. Meditate on my goal of unearthly knowledge. Should I dedicate myself to my purpose or focus my efforts elsewhere? And here I can put some lore, some passion, or some vitality. And in this case, it seems to make sense to put the Watchman's Secret in. I will dedicate myself to the pursuit of knowledge. Okay, so what do I need to worry about right now? I need to worry about getting my passion back. I need to get some money for... Okay, Leo. Oh, there's my affliction. So I'm gonna study my health to gain some vitality. In the meantime, we're under investigation, so let's induct Leo into the Mirror of Glory. Leo is the earnest sort with an interest in the occult. He hangs on my hints about the invisible arts. Oh, but I did use my... Well, you know what? Let's see what happens if I use the... Oh, I can't. I think it has to be Lantern. I've spoken the words. Each hour has its... Oh, no! Oh, and I apparently missed my my chance to impress Alden, so got the Forgotten Mithraeum. I of course need medicine to live, so we'll bring him into the Mirror of Glory. So I need the vitality that'll come from the study. And before too long, I do need to make a trip to Moorlands, but I want to hang on to this occult scrap just so... well, I don't actually need to do that, but I think maybe another trip to the mansis before too long is in order. Okay, so I've got my health that I can use the vitality to heal myself with. I'm going to be a little short on money, but as long as I'm careful, I shouldn't run into any difficulty. All right, Leo is the earnest sort and prepared to do what he must. Neville always has to be in position 1, so. And in the meantime, let's chat a little bit about some secrets. Okay, what else can we do? Not a lot study-wise at the moment. I'm going to have to let that erudition die because I don't have any other books. I've only got 1 funds, and that's going to be turning over in a little bit. We'll be good in 20 seconds. And ideally, I would like to clobber Mr. Alden. But we're not quite there yet. So the marks of shaping, the marks of delight, or the marks of light. And that is level 2. So I feel like I need to get some rituals to make the most of this. But the challenge, of course, is that I don't have a good way. I have a good way of getting any forge, which I need for the rituals. So I'm a little stuck at the moment. One other thing I can try. Let's see if I use Thunderous Secret. Okay, so that gives me the Bleached Way, Thrycine Way. Alright, so if I go for a level 4 lore, that doesn't seem to do anything. So one of the things I'm focusing on right now is the fact that there is Aspect Forge. Of course, it's not lore, so in this case I don't think I'm going to be able to combine that restlessness into a ritual. So for instance, we do something like this, or something like this. I think I would be able to get away with it if I had, if I actually had a ritual that needed that influence. But at the moment, I'm a bit stuck. Okay, there's my funds. Let me just take a second to get my bearings again. Okay, there's Natalia. We'll go back to work. Adim and Bichet are here. I'll put this among my stats. Oh, can't put that in there yet. Restlessness. I'm going to try and put the malices here. I think we're good to go. All right. So my immediate problem is I need to get rid of Alden. Now is not a particularly bad time to do it. The thing is that my pawns suck. Right now I'm doing this just so I can try and get that last little bit of dread taken care of. And you know what? I think I'm going to risk it. I think I am going to make a trip to Moorlands just because we're in a holding pattern right now, so. It takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. How have I done with the inspector? Well, we've got a new one. So we have Dr. Natalia Dragon. She was first laughed out of academia for her analysis of alternate histories and was only made more resolute. She now works with the Suppression Bureau. So far we've been able to manage it. One thing that's important about this new build is that evidence is, it has a timer. Alright, Moorlands gave us Koner and Girth, which is generally good, but not what I need right now. So we'll study that. Oh no, Herschelt's Nightmare. I remember that Herschelt wrote of this. I've levered up floorboards and wriggled down snugly. Now I am compressed beneath them like a hidden corpse. The air stinks of hot dust. My mouth is full of splinters. This time I haven't learned what I hoped to learn, whatever that was. Okay, so we're in a bit of a pickle. I think the answer here is preventative opium. In times of a special crisis, I might visit a discreet pharmacist and purchase a tincture of opium that make my dreams sweet, but only in times of a special crisis. This is an expensive and risky way to gain contentment. It might provoke sickness or despair. So I don't have a way of dealing with this dread quite yet. Or at least none that I've been able to find, so there are things that I can do with the investigator. Oh, looks like we've got a hanger-on. Well, that's going to open up some possibilities for me. So, what do we have? We've got an idealist. I wonder if we can recruit the idealist. We'll try that in a little bit. But seeing as I've got another hanger on, I'm going to add them, and I'm going to put them on a mission to try and off Alden. The reason why I bought that opium, of course, is that I'm going to have 2 in a minute. This is going to become the 3rd one, which will potentially end me. Now, the good news here is that this is going to turn into contentment as well, so this will all wind up canceling each other out. But I do want to make sure that I'm in a good position before too much happens. So, we'll go to the Mirror of Glory, we'll teach them the Watchman's Secret, and we'll see if we can do anything interesting with Natalia Dragon while we're waiting for additional books. Course of the Heart. Alright, so you've got more contentment. Here we'll just do the good old dread tactic, so I don't need to worry about any timers. Got an additional pawn. I might want to get a little savings at Glover and Glover because I'm gonna be a turn down. I'm gonna be down some money. So I might let this turn over a couple of times. I've gained Scholar Greek. Let's put that under my stats. Right. Alden, of course, wants me to work harder. This is going to be a pain. So we've got Dedication, Enlightenment, which is going to get ripped. Oh, this is a fun hack. Okay, so apparently if I hang on to Dedication, Enlightenment while this turns over, it's not actually going to take it up. Haha! Your move, Kennedy / Narrowcar. Oh, nope, that didn't work. Well, it was worth a try. I will admit, I'm rather curious how I'm... So it's a desire. Yeah, there's got to be a way of me working with that, but... Anyways, I'm going to go back to Glover and Glover just because I do want to get a little bit of a savings before I try and wipe out Alden. In the meantime, let's have a chat with Dr. Natalia and the subject, topic of conversation, or a minion who will destroy them. Now, of course, if I try and destroy this adversary, the minion skills are limited. This hunter will probably survive and the attempt will draw attention. So we're not good there. If I send Neville, similar idea, send someone unsuitable. Docs Gaming, thank you very much for that subscription. So if I use the Watchman's Secret, hint at the glorious war. There are finer things than we can see. You must have felt it. Consider the possibilities of eternity. So what do we have here? Interesting. I probably shouldn't be doing this while this is running down, but yeah, let's, did say that their idealism could be turned against them, so let's see where this goes, and in the meantime, let's employ more passion to see if we can get that final contentment. This is one of the reasons why I'm still working at Glover and Glover. Oh, this Mystique's probably going to get gobbled up there. I'm going to have 2 adversaries. I'm safe for now. The meddler's attention must be elsewhere. A relief. Can't study Neville yet. I can send Neville out to search, though. Crowded thoroughfares by day and a fog-wrapped labyrinth by night. I'll send my minions out searching for opportunities. I found somewhere unusual. Interesting. Okay. Mr. Alden's found nothing to criticize in my work. He does not look up as I leave. So again, 2 funds really isn't enough to embark on this on this murder mission yet, so let's hold off. Glover and Glover's here somewhere. Yep. So we'll work at that. Your count is too much for the hunter. Their eyes grow wide and bright. Their smile becomes dreamy. In the days to come, they will forsake everything they once knew. So we've gained the Watchman's secret and a poor lunatic. Some overwhelming experiences rob this individual of their senses, and they will disappear soon, never to be seen again. Amazing! Alright, the course of the heart, the place behind desire, despair. What can we do with the poor lunatic? Cupboard. Place a follower here to convert them permanently into a prisoner. Can I talk to the poor lunatic? Can I recruit the poor lunatic? Can I study the poor lunatic? No. Sadly, I don't have any crazy sacrifices to do or anything like that, but this game makes you want to eventually get a copy of the Munich Manual. It makes Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible look like Martha Stewart's Guide to Death. You guys know way too much about these evil things. Oh, cool. An Overlook Place. We've got the Ecdysis Club. That's a good find there, Neville. Go again. And in the meantime, let's throw out some more occult scraps to... Oh no! I'm sick. Alright, Dreams of the Rain. We've gained some contentment, which will be helpful with our despair. Evil's what I say it is, Doc's Gaming. Hey, we got some glimmering as well. Okay. Sadly, my vitality's gonna run out in the time that it takes for this, but I think this Course of the Heart will still be okay. Okay, so we're going to be back down to 1. I'm going to need to hold off on dreaming before I do anything else. Ooh, I'm kind of tempted to pay a thug. I'm going to need that money to live, though. You know what? You only YOLO once. Uh-oh, better not. I must be more careful of the company I keep. Okay, well actually that's probably okay because I was gonna run out of money due to the sickness anyway. I didn't want that hired thug anyway. Bring me someone better, Neville. I am eventually going to need to get I'm eventually going to need to get my, eventually going to need to get some more books, but life's been getting in the way. Alright, back to the grind. Ooh. Streets strange by moonlight. Sometimes the light of the moon is key to other places. I found a place where for a night or two the streets curve in unfamiliar ways. If I walk here I might fight insight, or I might be touched by madness. That's another good find, Neville. You are okay, Neville. I don't care what all the other people are saying about you. Streets are strange in the hour called Meniscate. Explore the uncanny tangle of streets by the light of the moon. So yeah, sorry we're not making as much progress. Without Forge, there's not a lot that we can do as far as the creation of rituals is concerned. Explore an uncanny tangle of streets by the light of the moon. Visions pass me with pavane grace. A window over wood, a garden of ice, shivering sun, a woman of glass. I return home reluctantly. So you've gained a subtle fracture, clouds part, walls creak, old wounds ache, a sixth order influence, significant resonances or correspondences. This can be used in some rites to summon minions. So very cool to do. Unfortunately, I don't know any other way of using these influences. I wish it were otherwise. And we've gained another hanger-on. It's a little hard to find people, it looks like, but we will persist. Well, goody two-shoes, while you were sitting in your pew like a good pious little boy, I was scrawling an ancient rune with soot-stained hands and burning sage to ward off the writhing hoarders you bent to your will. It's not my fault I picked the ward. Well, maybe. But it just means I get to be surprised when I see the horrible things going on in this game. Who's laughing now? Okay, let's do more passion in hopes that we can get rid of our despair. I think I'm gonna send one of these pawns to off Alden next turn. Okay, another subtle fracture. Yeah, we'll keep going to the strange streets. This won't quite time up well with me finishing at work, but if Alden makes me work another round, I should be able to do something about that. Hey, more contentment. Visions pass me with the pavane grace of a window open wood, a garden of ice, a shivering sun, a woman of glass. I will return home reluctantly. Okay, so I think we're good. We're good with that. Neville, find me something interesting. So that's one contentment. Oh, cool. So all of this is going to get wiped out. We are in a good spot now. All right. Alden was nice to me, so of course this is going to be the time that I try to off him. Dream of doors. That's going to boost our restlessness, unfortunately, but we do have a pleasant day. Memories of better times keep the wolf at the door. Each contentment destroys one dread or injury. Course of the heart, we're good there. We'll get our acquaintance in 30 seconds, and then we'll be able to... It's okay, virgin blood, the blood of someone who has not had their blood used in a ritual. Virgin blood, despite popular belief, does not mean the blood of someone who hasn't done the horizontal tango. It's quite valuable. Unrelated, you should visit for tea. You realize that bit of information removes my my favorite virgin sacrifice joke. All right. Vitality I'm not going to use. I want to make sure I don't lose my job at Glover & Glover. Cool. Hello, Eldridge. Okay, so... Pawn? I want this annoyance gone, but the approach is risky. My minion strength is limited. The annoyance might very easily survive, and the attempt will draw attention. Well, let's do it anyway. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can do in the meantime. Nope, I didn't have a I wasn't paying attention, so no hireling for me. Don't know where that passion came from, but an overlooked place. And we have found Oriflamme's auction house. That's Some good detective work there, Neville. Still haven't found much of a use for Mystique, other than it being something that detectives use against me. My minion is not yet returned. They must have failed. This may yet prove embarrassing. One more. I'm assuming some kind of a ritual with something evil would be the best option for offing Alden, but I don't have that, so. The real shame here is that I should be filling out these commissions, so like, you know, going to off Alden would be a great time for me to use the Furtive Truth to write, write the commission. But regrettably, I don't have that option unless, yeah, I can't do that in the study. So I have to live with what I've got. I suppose I can make my way to the wood, though. Oh, you know what? I should have killed the dread. That would have been the smarter move. I await word. My minion is not yet returned. They must have failed. This may prove embarrassing. Well, I'm just gonna... Mr. Alden, having dodged 2 murder attempts, comes into work. You guys wouldn't believe the weekend I've had. I think I might need to get a glass of water. If you guys will bear with me a quick second, I won't be more than just a minute. Not even a minute. I'll be like 30 seconds. Well, there was one person who left from that, so right. So my little excursions left me short on money, so I need to get that back. Oop. Well, that notoriety is gonna come back to bite me. Let's see what we can get at the well. Another Furtive Truth. Cool. Let's go on another adventure. And all right, so we've got another pawn. So we may have to sacrifice one of the pawns, but that's kind of what they're there for. Let's bring in Eldridge as well. Actually, this might work to my advantage. So if I can keep the Mystique getting nope, that notoriety is getting picked up. So yeah, I was thinking if I can get the Mystique rolling up, then the hunter will be occupied, but no such luck. All right, Alden obviously wants reason because Alden is a dick. I think I am going to eventually try Cater and Hero at some point. Connie Lee. The heiress, suffragist, and adventurer. She's recently put her exotic enthusiasms and considerable wealth at the service of the Suppression Bureau. She's tenacious. She's a hunter. She's a mystic. This hunter will usually survive attacks. Whoa! This hunter will usually survive attacks by creatures... Oh. Creatures of the mansis, even if those attacks would otherwise be unstoppable. This hunter will survive perhaps 1 physical assault and 3 even when the attack would otherwise be unstoppable. Interesting. So very hard to get rid of. What's going on here? Starvation. My life is slipping away. But I have... I'm kind of curious what's going to happen here. Eldridge has almost learnt not to pick his teeth with his knife in conversation. He has not yet learnt to leave his knife in his boot. Eldridge, you come at a very interesting time in my life. I'm very happy you're on the team. Oh, hello, Furtive Truth. Alright. We gotta go back to Glover and Glover and make sure that we've got the money. Best not, actually. We'll see what's happening with the starvation. Connie Lee is probably not going to like me very much by the end of this, but you know what? I'm okay with that. So yeah, it's weird that this is... I feel like this is going to end the game, even though I have a health sitting by. Which is a big shame if that does happen, but... can't be helped. I think Julian spelt with 1 L. That was my mistake. Neville, stop bringing me hirelings. Okay. Okay, so I'm kind of curious whether or not I get this health back when I give it nourishment. Looks like there's a few nasty things coming on the horizon, so we'll sort it out. Okay, Leo, Enid, Slee, Eldridge. We'll put the pawns down here. We're not really going to use them for anything. Money! So let's deal with hunger first. No hirelings for me today. More restlessness. Why not, eh? Oh no! Ah, right the time I needed it. Okay, well, the game has had mercy and decided to give me a pleasant day. I think I can live with that. Salbia! Happy to get my health back. That will bring me someone better. And let's keep going to the wood. I'm gonna wait till this is a little bit closer to completing before I... Alright. This is okay, Neville, but I'd like more. I always wonder if that lowercase w is intentional. Salbia understands blood. He does not yet understand birth. No, we don't have anybody to hire yet. they've got a nice little batch of miscreants, but no means of buying books at the moment. And I think I'm just gonna keep running with this. I think I'm gonna see what I can get with Cater and Hero as well. Once more with feeling, Neville. Also, I should probably be doing Passion to try and get some contentment, although obviously, more often than not, I think that's going to result in some scary things for me. Again, before I try and off Alden, I want to make sure I have a little bit of money set aside, so... Let's see what the mansis has for us today. Another occult scrap. I like it. Let's employ Passion for the Moonlit Road. And so I'm looking for another contentment to deal with my dread. I'm looking to earn a little bit more money. I mean, I could sell the Orchid Transfigurations for some cash. I'm not sure that's quite the right way to go about it, though. Alright, they've got nothing on me. The Mystique will extend their search. Okay, that's good news with Glover and Glover. Let's just jump straight back. Alright, Neville, I'm benching you for a little while, and we're going to use this brand new occult scrap to find a secret place. Okay, so they're going to be looking for clues for the next 40 or next minute or so. What else do we have? More Mystique. Okay, so that's going to be long. Pope Clifton! A bellowing and unorthodox Catholic with a mystic streak and an untrimmed beard. You might be able to recruit him as a follower. I bet you I will. So again, we'll use the Watchman's Secret. Glimmering. Didn't want that. I should have read that dream, I'm sorry. No murder of Alden tonight. And we found St. Agnes Hospital. They did good work here once. Certainly there were a few too many assumptions, but then there are individuals who would prefer not to walk the city streets. So let's just take a quick second. So this is a vault. This is just a straight up location, as is this one, although it has the aspect of the Grail and the Moth. This is another vault and another vault. So I think the vaults are the ones where you do the expeditions. Alright, Pope has Lantern as well. Now Clifton improvises new prayers rich with solar metaphors. He still shouts like a soldier and drinks like a sailor. Sounds like my kind of guy. That's, oh, did I use up all my occult scraps? I must have. Oh no, there's one here. Alright, let's, Neville, you're back on scouting duty. Slowly getting our money back up. Whew, this is a tempting one. I think I am going to put a little money towards this. Have a good one, Docs. Enjoy teaching martial arts. And I should be... Started about 7:30, right? Should be good for another half hour. I am, because this is the Harbinger build, I'm going to... I mean, I'm assuming we're not going to win tonight. I might play it on my own, because I do want to do that for Bug hunting purposes, excellent on the Dreams of the Rain. I dreamt of the rain whispering in the eaves, tapping on windows like an old friend hissing prankishly in the chimney. It is difficult to be unhappy in the right kind of rain. But yeah, I should still be around for about at least a half an hour, and then we'll be doing more. I will be doing more. This is gonna be a tricky one. All right, so I've got professional muscle. That's gonna help me with Alden for sure. That's some good hunting there, Neville. You know, I guess I can do manual labor while I wait for... Oh no, I had an affliction. That might cost me. But yeah, so we're gonna rough up Alden. Connie Lee won't like it, but that's that. And health-wise, well, I will get some vitality for working there, so that'll work out. All right. This desk is a mess. Okay, so we've got our affliction. Mystique will go with Connie. Basically, all the bad stuff's going to go down here. This restlessness won't really be a problem anymore. Got a hanger on, which I'll put by the pawns for now. I've got my professional muscle. Okay. You, Alden, go. Send a potent minion to murder annoyance. I'm out of patience with this nuisance. This should put an end to the matter, but they could possibly survive and the attempt will draw attention. Wouldn't expect it to do anything less. Oh man, I suspect Weather Factory would be very happy to see you do Neville art. All right, so I got a little something to tide me over. I really like this idea of the fatigue, because it used to be that working manual labor for a certain period of time was actually a fairly reasonable strategy. One thing that's not quite working for me right now is I sort of know that I need Forge to build a ritual. Well, actually, I technically don't know that, because that could have changed. But I feel like it's true. So that's kind of put a little bit of a damper on my ability to manage things. But that also that's all the more reason for me to try and deal with Alden. So, which will be happening in 15 seconds. The main advantage for dealing with Alden, of course, is that I basically get more money, because the more that Alden delays you from getting paid, the amount of money you sort of make per cycle, or like 60-second cycle, is less. A minion is returned with a trophy. The annoyance has been extirpated. All right. The office crackles with the news of Alden's unexpected absence. A scrawny, nervous fellow from the 4th floor has been appointed supervisor of records, temporary. Unlike Alden, he does not interfere with my work. I've gained some notoriety. A human corpse, which will apparently be gone in 50 seconds. The spirit departed. At some point, the smell will be so bad you'll have to dispose of it, but here it is for now. It may attract evidence. It may be used to impress the impressionable. And I still have professional muscles. Well, you know what? I mean, I've got a corpse sitting in my cupboard, for crying out loud. Can't study a corpse? What kind of cultist game is this? Ink, paper, the fizzling of electric lights. The office is dark when I leave, but I leave at the appointed time. Alright, so this should be a little bit better for... the work is more demanding now, but it's better paid. I won't put devotion in there. But I will put... Or sorry, I will put the extra hours in just so I can get the promotion. And we will... Dream of Dread. The minion is not returned. They must have failed. Well played, Connie Lee. Well played. Alright. Let's have a chat. I want to talk to you about the glorious lore. So my financial situation is slowly going to improve because I'm not going to be putting that extra time into work. That's going to translate into a spending spree at Morelands before too long. But obviously I have a few things that can potentially cause me trouble, such as, you know, a lot of notoriety and a investigator. Oh! The younger Glover has taken me out to lunch at his club. I am to do more of the things that I do more carefully, and in return he will give you a little more money, a little more of the money that I earned for his father. What a nice lad. Back we go. I curl my hands into the correct shapes and begin. So I'm going to treat myself with a new book, much as I do in real life. And Morelands, I forgot where you were. Takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. And let's do more passion. Nicely done, Knives of Sin. The hunter scoffs, but you can see the that the urgency of your account has struck a spark. This hunter has become an idealist. I wonder if I get away with doing that again. Oh, well, they're occupied. Oh, this is going to be bad for me. Alright, well, in the meantime, let's recruit a hanger-on. We've got a collection of poetry. And some erudition. Alright, well... let's try and throw some passion at our problems. Reason's back. I'm always the last to leave, even after the elder Glover. I'm on good terms with the younger Glover. He likes to joke that I might take his job next. I won't, of course. His father will see to that. He makes the joke to put me in my place. It is beginning to annoy me. So I'm mildly curious if I can assassinate my way to the top again, but we'll hold off for now. Alright, so the notoriety is getting gobbled up. Not much we can do about that. Moreland, we've gained a collection of essays, so I'm going to be employing my... I really should put my reason... No, I've got some time for that, so... Let's see what... Oh, Dreams of Doors, so I think that's going to gain me some restlessness. I'm reading what you're saying, Sensor. I'm just getting a little drawn into the game. Okay, but we do have some contentment coming my way. Did the passion get gobbled up with... Oh, it's in study, of course. The 6 letters of necessity. Okay, so we've got a few things to study. I am going to put one more into the bin. want to do... Okay, so this contentment will nullify this dread. What's going on here? Considering the evidence, if the hunter has found notoriety, they will try to use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail. They can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety, so I might be in this... Alright, Orchid Transfigurations Part 2, but I don't have any Latin in me, so... Neville! Alright, so we got some tentative evidence against me. I am kind of curious to see if I can somehow get rid of that, but... Back to Glover and Glover. Again, I'm not putting too much effort into my work anymore. Neville, I want you to hire somebody mean. And so now I can use the collection of poetry with the 2 glimmering. Mind is clear. Gained fascination. Not so good. Oh, Poppy the Shell. And looks like I got sick again, so that's not so good. Alright. What would you like, Pop? My dear, I've been wanting to talk to you. Sometimes I fund scholars of the invisible arts. I'd like to offer you my support, a substantial contribution. And all you need to do someday is to introduce me to someone who will end matters properly. She smiles benignly. Add passion to accept, or reason to interrogate her further. Oh no, I'm totally willing to give you a pawn. Alright, I lost an erudition, unfortunately, but we should get another one soon. And again, so right now, because there's nothing else for me to do work-wise, I'm just going to keep grinding away, so I missed out on the hireling, but I think Poppy is going to give me a big old stack of books, money for a big old stack of books in a minute, so let's throw another reason in so that I can boost my collection of essays. I forgot I need to also study health. Okay, well, we'll do passion for now. Actually, you know what? We'll go the way of the wood. You can sometimes get vitality through it, though not often. I'm gonna need to study my health next. How much longer do I have in this? 156 seconds, so it'll be 120. This is a tough call. As much as I hate to do this, I think I'm gonna study the health. So I might have to sack the erudition again. Okay, we are gonna buy out Moorlands. I think that's gonna turn into oh, maybe we didn't have fascination. Okay, back to the Temple of the Wheel. Peculiar rumor I don't think is gonna do much. I haven't been able to find a use for a peculiar rumor yet. These, where are they? So peculiar rumor has a secret history, and it's an secret history in moth, but again, I haven't been able to find out. Basically, any ingredients that are temporary, I haven't quite been able to get a handle on yet. Oh, Rambler, thank you very much for that auto host. I missed out. Rambler is playing Thrones of Britannia, the new Total War. I don't think it's like an official... I know there's like the main games that they have. Garstide's Sanskrit Reader, a lucid book which outlines a careful path through the thickets of a vast and complex language. I want to learn Sanskrit now. Okay, we're going back to Moorlands because we've got lots of money in our pocket. I feel like I should be taught... Oh, yes. Connie! I want to talk to you about the glorious lore. Anyways, Alex the Rambler, especially if you guys like watching my Monday Stellaris games and things like that, he does play a lot of Paradox games now, which I think some of you will be interested in. For those of you who haven't played a Paradox game, you may enjoy Stellaris, as the Kennedy Man did some writing for that as well. Alright, so let's take our vitality, a little money. Problem solved. Until I get more dread, of course. That's going to be another problem. Back in. The skeleton songs. Oh yeah, I can actually be studying all of this right now too, so... Okay, the 6 letters of necessity. Warnings and confessions about the cost of the invisible arts, addressed by a student to a student by the 17th century magus and reputed immortal Julian Costley. Costley's tone is urgent, as if he suspected he may have little time left. Your account is too much for the hunter. Their eyes grow wide and bright, their smile becomes dreamy. In the days to come, they will forsake everything they once knew. So, cool. We eventually will be able to use them as an ingredient, but not today. More vitality, which is nice. Gildersleeve's Latin grammar. We definitely needed that. Got my health back, along with more vitality. Unless I can get 2 more, it won't mean much. And hopefully this restlessness will be neutralized. In the meantime, I suppose it makes sense for me to try and recruit some more people. And let's take a trip back to the wood. Oh, we got a Smith's secret for that. I completely blew it on reading the text, though. I apologize for that. And we've gained another collection of poetry. What am I doing? I completely forgot to boost my reason. Okay, well, we will explore with funds. I'm gonna... No! I'm a dummy. I had enough erudition, I just wasn't looking in the right spot. Now I have my Smith's secret, so I'm also... Ah! Wakefield! So he is grim. Grim hunters cannot be swayed by the allure of the glory, but their own despair may destroy them. Good to know. Oh, but then my dread got gobbled up. Alright. Welcome back, Jesse Quill. Alright, we got Traveling at Night, Volume 2, the Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Lopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. This is the 2nd volume. Back to Moorlands as usual. Poppy will want her repayment. What's at the well? A subtle fly. Could have got a furtive truth if I knew what was lying behind door number 2. Okay, so let's get my extra reason. And then we're going to start making some rituals. Or seeing if rituals can be made in the traditional way. We're doing okay. We've got a nice little collection of lore here, so that's a bonus. I think we'll visit the Way of the Wood again. The Humors of a Gentleman, Samuel Savage's satirical comedy on the intrigues of the ailing but cunning John's son, his mistress Mavelyn, her lover Leo, and the upstart Corvino. So, again, just building up my library here. We will eventually start doing some other things, but Poppy is going to ask for... Here we go! Friendly visit from Poppy. This is the time, my dear. The sun in rags requires his conclusion. Will it be you, or do you have a friend? What do you think, chat? Are you? Yeah. We could, you know. We could put. I mean, Poppy seems kind of. You guys wouldn't be mad if I got one of these, but I mean, we need a sacrifice, right? We need to give up something that we want. Suitable conclusion. What a loyal friend you have here. Do say goodbye now. Valencine. Valencine has operated her establishment for almost 20 years. She has never employed an assistant. Her hands are terribly strong. Okay. We got another occult scrap. More mystique. Passion. Sorry guys, I just got a message. Oh, very cool. It's probably to wash the blood off their hands, huh? Alright, let's meet with Wakefield. So I can't talk to him about the glorious lore. I wonder if, so none of this... Winter might help. Are you aware of just how interesting I am? I don't think I have anything else to show him. Alright, so more reason. I think I'm gonna just risk it. So let's try Watchman with this method. Subvert the glorious lore. Don't want to do that. Fascinating. Okay, so if I study a Smith's secret, if I have two lore fragments of the same level and aspect, I can study them together to improve my understanding, or I can use another type of lore to subvert it. Study the forge fragment of the same level to upgrade it to the next level. So apparently this is not how you make rituals anymore. Wow. Okay. Whoo boy. That puts me behind that this is very interesting. By the end of the first act, okay, Samuel Savage's satirical comedy on the intrigues of the alien but cunning John's son, his mistress Mavelyn, her lover Leo, and the upstart Corvino. By the end of the first act, Mavelyn has revealed a secret door in the walls of the house of Leo, and Corvino has taken to consuming worms. Let's gobble up the occult scrap. And we've got Deoris. I think at this point I'm just gonna keep burning through through books until I can find the until I basically find the bottom. Yeah, we can go to through the Way of Wood again. I don't have the higher lore to go any further anywhere else, so I can upgrade my occult lore here, but follower is gone, I remain. Popula shells a scene here and there, and she may have more to say to you. And we've gained a chilly atmosphere. An amiable woman of property, she'd like your help with something. I was rash, perhaps I shouldn't have exposed myself, so... Hey! Well, you know what? Screw you, Wakefield. Alright, what do you want, Poppy? I am, Poppy says with a girlish giggle, curious about, oh, you know, the arts of blood and ice. It's silly, but you'll allow an old woman her whims. Will you help me? Yes, except that I can't seem to study, so... Back to Moorlands, and apparently just scattering the cards all over the place with reckless abandon. Oh dear, I probably just activated some contentment. Oh, but that's not bad because that'll eliminate the bad thoughts. Savage's humors of a genre. The play is scabrous and occasionally hilarious. The characters are contrary and capricious. Many of the more resonant lines might well be formula of power disguised in plain sight. This will help me quite a bit, so now I can study the two Watchmen's secrets to level that up. I've got my passion back. Poppy wants a commission on Winter, which I can't give to her even if I had Winter. And all is right with the world. Let's show some more poor sods esoteric matters. Okay, we've got on the white. That's good for Winter, I believe. But again, I mean, at this point, I'm just going to be researching new I'll go to the wood again. So I'm going to try and use some of my upgraded lore to kind of move up to a higher level. But that's why I prioritized the. They want glimmering. I can't give you glimmering. Locksmith Stream, Portions and Proportions. The second volume of Teresa Gallagher's examination of the parallels of the mystic dreams of artisans. The frontispiece has been slashed with a razor. Back we go. I mean, in theory, I could actually start an expedition. Okay. So that didn't work out. So instead, we're gonna study my health. As much as I would love to use the erudition right away, I do need the vitality to get myself better, make myself better. Let's say, okay, so these are Latin, these are English. This is money. Back to the well. Hey, furtive truth. Although I could have got my... I guess I don't need the vitality anymore. The Burning of the Unburnt God. Compiled by J. Wigglesworth Jensen from Oral Traditions of Rural Persia. Not gonna fire me. Alright. Rhaenyra, an acquaintance. Rhaenyra has been found not guilty on 3 times in 3 separate jurisdictions. She will likely never be found guilty of anything. You might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. More occult scraps. Well, no, sorry, that's the same one as before. And let's use it to rope someone into devil worship. I'm gonna hold back on the trips to the mansis just so I can heal up. I think we are still technically at a deficit doing this, but obviously I want to get as many books as I can. Locksmith Stream, Light Through the Keyhole. And I should be studying something at this point. So what do I want to do? Let's try the double Watchman secret again, because I think that's going to advance me more than anything else. Okay, I'm going to see if I can talk to Wakefield after I get some dread from this restlessness. Patron. I found someone... Oh, okay, so... I'll wait for this to run down. An introduction to histories. And I've got my health back. Some vitality. We'll wait 30 seconds. Oh, actually, I guess I can let the restlessness count down now. And we can go back to the wood. So sorry, I know it's a little idle right now. We'll have something to show you before too long. They wanted glimmering again. I don't think there's a regularity to these patterns on what is contained by silver. So that I need my Greek in order. My Greek is not in order, but then I have a lot of books to get through. So hello, Count Jennings. I will talk to you later because I have a date with Inspector Wakefield. Where's my dread? Describe the horrors awaiting an adversary. Something to think about every time you close your eyes. This may demoralize the hunter, but may also increase your own dread. Yes, Jess, but then that's what the life of a cult leader is, isn't it? Just a whole bunch of things to keep track of on a desk and organize. And I'm pausing a little bit more, mostly because I'd like to read the text. There were a couple of times that I paused just to collect my thoughts, but I'm trying to be... Hello, Mansis. Back to the Temple of the Wheel, and we got another Furtive Truth. So I'm going to be able to upgrade my my secret histories quite a bit, but the catch, of course, is that sometimes I want to find the locations that come out of those, so... okay, so we've got contentment. I can use that to eliminate dread. I've got some erudition sitting here. I am still working on the promising research, and I should be going back to Moorlands, wherever you went, for books. Alright, let's see what this does to Wakefield. Ah! Your account is too much for the hunter. Their eyes bulge, their jaw tightens. In the days to come, they will sink inexorably into despair. Okay, so this is cool to know. I no longer need to use brute force methods to get rid of hunters. I can usually drive them nuts. Oh, I do not have any means of recruitment right now. Ah! Count Jennings! Give me a commission that I can't do. I don't think this is organized. I think this is a disaster. The books aren't organized. Commission on edge, you say? The War of the Roads, 1450 to 1580, censored edition. Willis Ford describes the War of the Roads, an event in a history other than our own in detail, but numerous pages have been removed. The name of the publisher is blacked out, and an ominous slip stapled to the cover explains that Willis Ford has been excised. Okay, getting a little short of money, but that's because I've been neglecting work. Alright, more restlessness. That's going to become a problem if... it's going to become a problem if another hunter shows up. Or sorry, if another... if Despair shows up. But for now, let's go back to the Land of Dream. And we managed to upgrade our... actually, I really need to... Sorry. Gonna take a quick desktop beautification project. So we've got our Latin books here. We've got our Greek here. Got On the White. Queens of the Rivers. Burning of the Unburnt God. And Gallagher Volume 1, Gallagher Volume 2, Introduction to the Histories. Okay, there's the English books. Gildersleeves. Don't have any Sanskrit yet. Nope, forgot the skeleton songs. And I'm already a scholar of Greek, so, well, I might as well add that to the... Okay, that's a little bit better. Can't stack erudition, so I'll put that there. Malices, restlessness, mystique. You know, the way I've set it up right now, I don't remember exactly who... Okay, so this is Bichet's. I think this is Adim's. Yeah. Poppy and Jannings. These are basically where they need to be. Oh, this is a Malice, so we'll put that there. And can technically downgrade these here. I'm happy with these as locations, so we'll keep that there. All right, I think this desk is beginning to... All right, so you guys want to know... we can put this down here. I don't really have a use for this yet. This is what the desk of the Mirror of Glory looks like. This is also what my work desk looks like, by the way. So there's at least one person in chat who has seen what my apartment looks like. And my work desk looks... my work desk doesn't... My work desk looks like this. My apartment desk looks nothing like this. All right, something, deep mystery, something. A dreadful souffle of half-digested rumor about secret worlds, and the irrelevance of contemporary morality. None of it seems true, but it is very grandly written and does describe a catalog of unlikely and probably invented debaucheries. Readings might impress the impressionable. Exactly one person. Alright, so we're good with Moreland's shop. We'll put that there. Miss Ariella, how the hell are you, lady? For those of you who do not know her, Miss Ariella is an Australian caster, somebody who I got to meet in Vancouver. Jess got to meet her. She is an absolute sweetheart. Thank you so much for that host. Oh, it's wonderful to see you again. Ari and I are on opposite sides of the world. We have almost no possibility to run into each other anymore, but it is great to see her every single time. What have you been playing lately? Miss Ariella has the distinction of being somebody who is, she's really impressed me with her ability to continue playing, everything that she's been given. Every time that she's been given a key, she always plays a game and plays it to the hilt. She does amazing things on her cast. I'm very sorry to say that I haven't been able to watch her as much as I would like, but I strongly recommend, especially for some of you who are saying that my hours are a bit inconvenient, Ariella is somebody I feel very safe in recommending. She's an absolute sweetheart. I'm really curious if you are interested in playing this game. It's Cultist Simulator. It's by Weather Factory, which is co-founded by Lottie Bevan and Alexis Kennedy, two absolutely fantastic people. You can follow their business Twitter at Factory Weather, and you can follow Lottie Bevan's account at @TronBevan, and Alexis Kennedy is at Alexis Kennedy, and the banter between the two of them is worth following their personal accounts alone for. They're very, very nice people, very much like you, and they're somebody, I don't know, I think you might find this game quite interesting. But yes, I am very sorry to hear about your leg. And you've been most recently playing Mass Effect when you've not been tending to your wounds. Did I lose a pawn? I could have sworn I had 3. Oh no, I gave one to Poppy, that's right. Okay, let's go on an expedition. So Cater and Hero Limited. It's been abandoned since the explosion when both owners died. The machine stands silent. The building is a collapsing shell. Mr. Cater was known to display... was known to display peculiar trinkets in his office. Perhaps some yet remain. So let's go into this. So I have not done one of these before. So, the remaining factory walls could topple at any moment, blackened timbers creak in pain. We must equip ourselves properly and move with dreadful care. Expeditions need at least 1 funds per obstacle. Followers will defeat obstacles. If you run out of funds or followers, the expedition ends. Alright, so I need at least 1 follower to start the expedition. I can add more later. Assistant, I can add an extra follower now if I think they'll be useful. 1 funds, 2 funds, 3 funds. Okay, let's start this off right. So, Neville has the aspect of knock, which is about opening things. And I think I had light people. Alright, so Slee, your lantern. You need to keep Neville in good health. And we're gonna add a crap load of money. And if you guys run into anything evil, I want you to run away. By the way, Ariella, have you seen my fancy emotes? Alright. Looks like we're at the end of the research, so good news there. So yeah, I'm glad you love it. The Eyes of Sin was the one to create it. She is in chat, I believe. When work decides they want to pay you again, you'll say, oh, no. Yeah, that was the exact opposite of what that was, Ariella. I am very happy that you are here while you are still convalescing. There's always better use for money, including buying excellent games like this one. Alright, Tristan. Tristan dislikes distractions. Tristan gets things done. You might be able to recruit him as a follower. And let's talk with more people to try and bring... At some point I'm going to need to recruit these folks. Oh! We call upon the Watchman, who is not compassionate. The Watchman shows mercy neither to our obstacles nor to us. If we're lucky, we may make it through. Well, you know what? This sounds like a job for Eldridge, who is the aspect of the knife, or of edge. All conquest occurs at the edge. One who dwells there is blind and cannot be wounded. Another is strong and grows stronger. Edge is the principle of battle and struggle. Incidentally, so I can put a follower or money, but you know what? We'll put Eldridge. Eldridge. Oh no, Ariella, I'm sorry to hear that. I've never had to deal with that in my life, and I consider myself extremely lucky. The earth is hungry. A promising root reveals itself as a sucking snare. We'll have to go around and try again. Okay, we've got the glorious lore. I've increased mastery of the glorious lore, by which we call by its aspect lantern. So I have dimmed reason, but I've gained a mansis glimpse. Now this is going to be particularly helpful. In fact, if I get rid of this path and I go up, aha, we have the white door. There's a house in the wood. I know something of that house, enough to find my way to its light. So you'll notice, Ariella, if you are interested in this game, basically this game, so essentially, in the most basic sense, what this game is you are playing a leader of a cult. And this game has a series of verbs here, and all of these cards relate to aspects of yourself or things that you have access to. So for instance, my main resources are funds, health, reason, and passion. And my cult currently, which is called the Mirror of Glory, an occult society dedicated to the understanding of the light that leaks from a fiercer place. I have people like Leo, Enid, Saliba, Hope Clifton, some pawns. I've got contacts, Dr. Ibn Aladim. We've got people who I know who I've not yet inducted into the great mysteries of the Mirror of Glory. And I've got a big old stack of books, just like home, that are currently unread. And then I have the knowledge that I've gathered from books that I have read, which I'm trying to combine in increasingly interesting ways and trying to fulfill certain ambitions. So a lot of what this game is, much like playing the villain of some kind of a Lovecraftian tale or something like that, you're confronted with a bunch of different things, but just like you're trying to, in the case of like a Lovecraft story, they're usually trying to understand something absolutely dreadful. But basically, this game, you get little glimpses of what's sort of lying underneath the surface. Obviously, the game doesn't start this way. This game starts with work and a job. And the thing that's so interesting about this game is that you explore it, as your character is sort of moving through and learning a little bit more about the world and just trying to push further and further. When you see something horrible, the game shows you something horrible. And when you see something interesting, it shows you a thread and you start pulling away, and whether that unravels the sweater or whether that leads you out of the labyrinth, you don't really know until you reach it. And so I have there's a lot that I like about it. I connect with it quite well because, again, if you want to say, like, what is this thing actually about in the sense of, like, it's English class and you're looking for a definition, this is about your cult is that thing that you want to bring to the world, whether it's your stream, whether it's a game that you want to make. We've got a couple of people in chat who've been talking about how this game has inspired them to make something. It could be a book, it could be an essay, it could be... it could be anything. It could just simply be good works that you do. And of course, in this game, it's apocalyptic. And the thing I love about so this is a game that uses apocalypse in exactly the way that it should. Because of course, you've also got the Book of Revelation, right? And apocalypse doesn't just mean the end of the world. It's a literary genre, and it involves the revelation of things. It's a way of communicating information. And it's, this game gets it in both meanings. Yes, there are elements that can deal with the end of all things. But there's also that meaning of gaining these sort of shattering revelations. So like if you think of apocalypse, you should be thinking like Book of Daniel and Book of Revelation. And so it's a wonderful game. Again, the mechanics are quite straightforward, but the only thing about it is that if you're easily frustrated, the game does not hold your hand. They've gotten better at it. So it's a conscious choice not to tell you everything to do. So for instance, there are rituals in this game, and I've not found out how to be able to get them yet. It used to be that I would add forge in something. And in this case, it's telling me that, well, if you want, you can subvert something into another type of lore, but you can't combine forge with just anything and make a ritual anymore. You're going to have to find another way of doing that. So, if I haven't done a write-up in my blog about Cultist Simulator, I was actually thinking of doing YouTube videos, but it's a good point. I should probably write it up in my blog. Yeah, I hope that's done enough to whet your appetite, Miss Ariella. I will continue to play the game, but I thought maybe you haven't had the benefit of seeing me stumble around in the dark for the past 3 hours, so we haven't died yet. That's good. Oh, I need to be studying. Let's read my English books. So, On the White. On closer investigation, the work seems to be a theory of aesthetics, or perhaps a set of warnings about the dangers of painting. So I'm studying away at this. We found an acquaintance, come with me. An adversary, someone is meddling. They've seen my mystique. They will probably gobble up that second one as well, and hopefully we can drive them insane. These are the bounds about the house, with their mists and their traces. This is the rock called the Temple of the Wheel, high as a church spire, patched with black lichen and daubed with eye signs. I round it, and there ahead of me is the white door. The light of the house leaks around the edges. So this is what we get for having a higher mansis glimpse. And we found our way to the white door. In my dreams, I've passed the white door, which has been called the bone door and the gate of ivory. My voice remains outside the house each time I enter. So, got additional locations. I will dream because I am looking for contentment to neutralize this. We'll continue to work at Glover & Glover. I should probably at some point put that. All right, Spencer Hobson. Let's see who we're dealing with here. Husher writes distractedly of his hatred of colors and his yearning for death. He hints at a great work that he has envisaged or begun, where the palest of paintings will enthrall the world. He returns again and again to certain compelling phrases, which he claims are the secret words of winter. So we've gained the Sexton's secret. Let's do some more studying. So The Queens of the Rivers, a surreal contemporary play by the enigmatic Monica Medina, in which the queens of the rivers are murdered one by one. The queen of the Vistula is poisoned. The queen of the Dnieper chokes on a fishhook. The queen of the Tagus is the Tagus is burnt alive. And we have gained Porter as an acquaintance. So another occult. Well, put the occult scrap back. I still want to find out who this Spencer Hobson fellow is, but we will continue to dangle tantalizing details in front of them. I don't have any dread, which is good. Oh, sorry, I am going to get dread. Oh, no. This might actually be something that can end me. So, Hobson. Hobson has been a journalist, a private detective, and rather briefly a priest. Now he's an agent of the Suppression Bureau. Oh, Isa Sin was talking about this guy. Okay, so he's a mystic. This hunter will usually survive attacks by creatures of the mansis, even if those attacks would otherwise be unstoppable. He's erratic. This hunter often fails to create evidence from notoriety. Conversely, they'll sometimes create evidence even when they can't find notoriety. Alright, so I don't have any obvious strategies for dealing with them yet, but they're also going to be less of a threat, I think. But I need to get serious about this dread, so we're going to follow the path here. I do eventually want to make the way to the White Door, but one thing at a time. Another thing I would like to try and do is re-examine my focus. I'd like to see if I can upgrade it with a mansis glimpse. My suspicion is no, but that doesn't mean I can't try. Let's move this down here with all the other annoyances. I feel like there should be a way for me to deal with this dread. Oh, I should have put my reason towards there. Okay, I am in deep doo-doo. So I've gained a subtle fracture, because I saw Herschel's nightmare. I levered up floorboards and wriggled down snugly. Now I am compressed beneath them like a hidden corpse. The air stinks of hot dust. My mouth is full of splinters, but this is the space below. So I'm going to buy some tincture of opium. In times of special crisis, I might visit a discreet pharmacist to purchase a tincture of opium and make my dreams sweet, but only in times of a special crisis. This is an expensive and risky way to gain contentment. It might provoke sickness or despair. Okay, the expedition continues. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. I'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. We are flush with cash, so let's throw some more money at the problem. Alright, the end of the Queens of the Rivers. The culprit, it transpires, is the audience. The surviving queens are directed to execute whatever audience members do not escape. A surprisingly lucid epilogue suggests the correspondence of the river names with historical events does provide clues to secret histories behind our own. Let's continue studying. What do I want to study? What is the best option? I think I said I was just going to keep reading books. Alright. Jensen hypothesizes a pre-Zoroastrian fire deity whose rites were the rites of smiths. Oh, lovely. Okay, so... Oh wait, that was the tincture of opium. Drugs got me that. So the music's gotten scary because I would potentially have died from that, but... I believe this will give me an additional contentment, so we'll be down to 1. I might even do tincture of opium again, just to eliminate this. Passion's back. Oh god, more dread. I forgot about that restlessness. Oh god, treacherous ground, sucking mud, tricksy fissures. The earth is hungry. We need a lantern to show us the way, or a forge to make us one. I think I already used my lantern follower. This might be a problem. Oh, Pope Clifton. Call upon the watchman who is not compassionate. The watchman shows mercy, neither to our obstacles nor to us. If we are lucky, we may make it through. Save across treacherous ground. We're mud-splattered and thorn-scratched, but we've made it through. Where's Neville? Where's Neville? Hello. All right, Jensen ultimately concludes with apparent reluctance that the deity was a goddess. He suggests that its gender may have been the cause of its suppression. The rites described here are eerie, sometimes grisly. So we've gained the Ardent Orison. That's a level 4 fire lore. When we watch a fire, what are we watching for? When we find it, these are the words it will speak, a word that sanctifies the change that comes when the seared skin peels. All right, and the rite of the crucible soul. This rite uses an instrument of power to set the blood afire. Fire is the lesion in the skin of the world. The assistant rarely survives unharmed. Okay, so we'll figure out how to use this rite. In the meantime, nothing else to study, so let's begin our exploration of Teresa Gallagher. So, first volume of Teresa Gallagher's examination of the parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. The parallels in mystic dreams experienced by carpenters, masons, and other artisans, and what they purport to reveal about the architecture of the world. Surprisingly mordant and even funny, no one has ever explained why Gallagher devoted herself to the chaotic exploration of artisans' dreams. Let me just catch up with what we're doing here. So I'm going to hang her on. More mystique, passion. I don't think this ritual, yeah. So I just want to think. I think it's time to. I think it's time to do some recruitment, especially while I'm on an expedition. Thank God. Okay. Oh, this thing's gonna die though. Treasures lie before us. We're mud-spattered and thorn-scratched, but we've made it through. Okay, it says we made it through. I am going to put some funds in this just in case, because I can afford it. I'm going to nullify the... I hope it works out this way. I'm going to try nullifying the dread. Oh, lovely. Okay, so I got to keep my dream open. I've got some fascination. Although it is an ingredient, so... I will eventually deal with Hobson, but I have a higher priority right now. Okay, so this contentment's gonna get wasted, unfortunately, unless... Sometimes it's possible to... Alright, so Porter is the aspect of Moth. Yeah, I think it's safe to say this contentment is dead. So let's add Tristan into the cult. And you know what? I keep forgetting to put my my reason in there because I'm using this to study all these books. Oh God, what now? Despair overwhelms me. This is almost the end. Find contentment now or it's over. Okay, well we'll have the tincture of opium in time to save myself. So, read this volume of the Locksmith's Dream. We've gained another Watchman's secret. Time and time again we hear of the wood which rises from the world's foundation. All trees reach for light. What does the wood reach for? Now it's important to remember I can use some of this lore to upgrade some of my followers as well, but right now I'm more interested in trying to acquire as much as I can. Oh, okay, Cater's office. 2 floorboards lift away to reveal a hollow beneath Cater's desk. The rats have made free with the biscuit stored there against the peckishness which haunts the entrepreneur. That's lovely. But they cannot penetrate the iron lockbox. A moment with a crowbar will open it. Okay, so we've gained some notoriety for our efforts. Okay, Pope's back. Eldred is back. Where's Neville? We just lost 2 guys. Okay, so martensite paste, the sacred chrism of the sword, also an attractive silver green. And we've gained the Magus von Brandt's authentic and unique account of written excitably and in some haste by a gentleman in the grip of transcendentalist enthusiasm, but nevertheless a useful guide to Aramaic. I don't know what happened to Neville. Looks like we need another recruitment drive. Okay, let's continue reading. Locksmith Stream Part the Second volume of Teresa Gallagher's examination of the parallels and mystic dreams of artisans. The frontispiece has been slashed with a razor. And this time, so I've kind of got one of everything right now. Enid, you are the aspect of the knock. We are going to do another search. Actually, what we'll do, let's use another occult scrap to seek out new locations. Oh, I'm sure we'll find him again. Okay. Honestly, I'm just generating so much dread that... Oh, actually... Okay, so Tristan is Forge. Good to know. We will continue... Okay, before we do that... Hobson! So I can hint at the glorious lore. Yeah, somehow I think the notoriety is not quite what I want to do. Describe your visions to your adversary. The higher you rise, the more you'll see. This may distract the hunter, but may also increase your own fascination. I feel like this is a good way of dealing with an erratic hunter. This gains me glimmering. So this would have been a great time to... Oh, thank God. Oh no, that's the same opium that I was getting before. Get in there! Oh my God, why? Okay, so I've gained an affliction. Yeah, so this thing just got wasted. I'll buy another one. Oh yes, this is we're pretty close to the. This is it's fairly safe to say this is the final build, and basically everything's just going to be an improvement on it. All right, so locksmith's secret. Sooner or later, every locksmith has the dream. Now we recite it 7 phrases. Nearly every summoning rite will require knock influence. This lore will provide it. So we can try a summoning ritual with the rite of the crucible soul, I think. Thus the essence of these visions. What is below can't escape what is above. Gain some erudition, but again, I've got other problems to deal with right now, including the fact that they didn't use contentment the way I wanted them to. Glover and Glover wants me to go. Okay, actually, I'm just going to take a second here and take a look at the rite of the Crucible Soul. So, each rite can be used for many purposes. For summoning, I must begin by calling upon the power of the knock, which will open the way. So, summoning begins with knock. It usually requires 2 other aspects besides. So here, we either need a prisoner or a follower. Pawn! No idea about instruments yet. And my desire is also not high enough. Yeah, so we're not able to do anything with this. I'm gonna have to learn rites in general. I've been able to do it once before, but not very effectively. So, anyways, hanger-on. Strathcoin's residence. The house of Mr. Strathcoin, collector of rare objects. Strathcoin will not sell his treasures, but a sufficiently cunning accomplice might be able to gain entry. Okay. I think I'm going to continue chewing through these occult scraps until there's no more locations. And as far as studying is concerned, I'm actually going to need to start with health, because I'm going to need to deal with my affliction. All right, let's see what's coming out here. So we've got some glimmering, again, not too helpful for me right now. This would have been a wonderful time to try and combine some lore, but I don't think I have. I mean, it's only occult scraps that I could double up, and I have other uses. Oh my god, I don't know where that vitality came from, but that's what I get for having a messy desk. All right. Yes, I could be something finer. But what we are is less important than what we do. The world is where we live, and I will defend it till I die. You can keep your visions. This hunter has become grim and tenacious. They are now a rather dangerous problem. Okay, so... Grim hunters cannot be swayed by the allure of the glory, but their own despair may destroy them. Fortunately, I don't have any dread to work with. All right, well, this time I will remember to employ my reason. Alright, so I'm gonna have to send the big guns after Hobson. Oh, we've got the weary detective. Alright, we'll work with that too, so we've got more than one adversary now. Oh, I'm not going to buy a tincture of opium because I've got a pleasant day coming up. Although I don't know if that will do what it's supposed to. Alright, I've gained health and vitality. Oh, my affliction's going to hit me in a minute. That was poorly planned on my part. We've still got 98 seconds, so we should be good there. The Forsaken Reach, running out of space. So let's use another occult scrap just to get more locations. I think this thing's going to count down no matter what, but we'll try and keep it. I'm always last to leave even after the Elder Glover. That's the drawback about employing the reason, it always goes away. Okay, so this is going to be troublesome for evidence. We have the vitality we need, so we'll just wait for the dream to finish. Ideally, we'll get a contentment, and that'll annihilate the dread. We dream of the curios behind glass. I'm pretty sure this one isn't a contentment one. In the display cases, you see the impossible museum. I always see an apple white as snow and hard as marble, a golden beetle in a stern box, a coy geometry awaiting my touch, a black envelope bursting with spring, a brass opera box for instruments of record and measure, a storm in a tin. I always wake before I see the aisles end. Now guys, I'm sorry to do this to you. I know for the YouTube crowd this is not going to be helpful, but I am going to try and find a tweet for you that I think you guys, it'll help you out with the appreciation. Actually, you know what? I can probably, I'm sure it'll be okay for me to show this on stream, so. God, there's a lot of people who I know who are following him. May I compliment you all on your excellent taste? Okay. Sorry, guys. This will 100% be worth it. I like stuff like this because the one thing that's always bothered me a little bit about whenever I read writers on writing, people will ask a very... Okay, so actually I should say, like, I am going from a very small sample on this. It could be that actually writers are very good on this question, but like I remember seeing a Harlan Ellison reply to this, and I don't know, like when people ask the question, like, where do you get your ideas from? You usually tend to see a little more snark than I think is entirely appropriate to that question. Because I think in some cases, like it's one a way of somebody saying, is like, I like your stuff and I kind of want to know where it comes from. And, you know, in some cases, I think some people might have ambitions to be a writer. And it's sort of nice to think, you know, like obviously from my experience as a TA, I really wanted to try and encourage people who wanted to pursue an economics degree to get them to do that. I mean, because let's face it, not a lot of people like wake up in the morning and say, you know, I'm going to become an economist. This is what I really want to do. All right, here we go. So one of the nice things, it doesn't, and everybody's process is different, right? But I have a lot of respect for people who actually seriously answer it because it's a scary question. No, I didn't, Jesse Quill. I took a micro course and I really enjoyed what I learned in it. So, and that was kind of, I originally went to school for philosophy. But anyways, so with that in mind, I do like having the positive side to it. Incidentally, I did do a blog entry where I tried to answer this question, but the thing is that like I haven't done creative writing in like 5 or 6 years. And I'm not entirely, my nonfiction is at a point where people would really want to ask me the question. But with that in mind, I thought I would offer what I know about it. So with that in mind, this... Oh, thank you so much, K5. And I hope, I mean, obviously that's just, that's merely a reflection of the quality of your own viewers that are brought in here. It sounds like you're on your way out. If you have a minute, I think you'll like this thing I'm going to show. I've got it up and ready to go, but I do want to read this out again. The dreams of the curios behind glass. In display cases of the Impossible Museum, I always see an apple white as snow and hard as marble, a golden beetle in a stern box, a koi geometry awaiting my touch, a black envelope bursting with spring, a brass opera box for instruments of record and measure, a storm in a tin, and I always wake before I see the aisle's end. So here is a great reason for you guys to follow the Twitter accounts of Weather Factory. Let's see if I've got a better way of zooming this thing in. So the whole reason why I talked about that writer thing was not to complain, but rather to celebrate this thread, which I enjoy very much. You know when people ask writers where they get their ideas? White apple? Oh, sorry. Well, I may be drummed out of the guild for revealing this, but there's the apple, the beetle, This is a really sweet one. I'm so happy he shared this. Actually, I think I might be able to give you the full photos. Okay, I'll just have to click them individually. The white geometry with I love daddy written on it. I'm not sure. I don't think this is a credit card. This might be a transit pass. What was the line again? A black envelope bursting with spring. I'm not familiar. Jess might be able to help this because she's been in London. I mean, it could just be a credit card, but I don't think so, because normally the Visa and MasterCard put their waves on the outside. It is a credit card. Okay, my bad. The box with records of instruments of and records of measure. Not only do I love this one, I love the comment. I'm sorry about this one. The storm in a tin. Related. I knew a guy who GM'd Shadowrun at uni, which is my first role-playing game, by the way. One of his NPCs was called Cotton, another Window, a third one, a martial artist, was Singer. But that was because this was on the table. So anyways, guys, that is a great... I mean, this is one of the things that I love. This actually does a great job of explaining why I like Cultist Simulator so much. Because, I mean, obviously that talks about the inspiration for this dream, but likewise, in terms of this game, so we've talked about this a few times. Life isn't always easy, and we sometimes don't always turn to the healthiest things to deal with the difficulty that comes up. Despair can be a real thing, and it's something that will prevent us from achieving that goal or that destiny, that thing that we want to do. There are a lot of opportunities in front of us which don't always seem to be opportunities, or you have these, these components. You have, if you think about it, the individual actions you can perform in a given day. By the way, I never read the dialogue for this. This gentleman would much rather be left alone with his pipe and his illustrated London news. But no, apparently some conjurer of abominations has to be hunted down like a mad dog, and apparently no one else can find the time. But again, we all have different ambitions. I think it's maybe not surprising to people that I always go for the lantern ambition. There are people to help us along the way. There's different things that we explore. But the main thing, again, about this game is that core of yourself and the trying to manage the resources so that you can pursue that ambition as well as make sure that you take care of your immediate needs. And if you spend too much time doing one thing, usually you have... you see neglect in others. This is why you can lose your job in the game. This is why your health declines. This is why it's possible to get quite a bit of money, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're any closer to achieving that thing that you want to do. And I can relate to this. I'm very slowly beginning to build a research pipeline. I'm very slowly beginning to build up this ability to do some research and sort of confidently have it and have it published. And that's different from where I was at the beginning when I was starting this game. And yet, for every potential paper that I have, or means of producing a paper, I have lots of little fragments of things, different ways to join them, and perhaps books that arrange them in ways that finally make me understand in ways that I previously haven't. And so I think that's the really rewarding thing about this game, is that you can put a lot of yourself into it. I think you can create a character who you find very relatable, or you could find somebody who maybe you wish you could be, and you get to let your imagination run wild. There's a lot of different ways to play this game. There's a lot of ways to, there's a lot that you can get from the interpretation. But what I think is so wonderful about it on its own is that it has created this really interesting world, and then it's put it all entirely behind this desk. And the way that you'll gain the insight, the way that you'll find out what these things are, how these aspects relate to each other, what the hours are, what the long are, what all these different aspects are, what they mean, and how you will react to them. All of that's hidden away, and you need to find the key. You need to unlock it. And that allows for a lot of interesting things to happen. That allows sort of the game to take place in your head. That allows you to really sit in and drink it up. And it's just been a tremendous experience to follow this game from a point where it was a simple Unity prototype on itch, not even without Kickstarter. And to be able to see it turned into something now where basically it's going to be some variation on this that we wind up playing in the final version. But I am going to say that is it for me for tonight. I've gone a bit over time. I know we had some technical problems at the beginning. I'm really happy that we didn't have any other dropped frames, but I'm going to leave that with you tonight. If you guys are interested in picking up the game, I will just quickly put out my... So if you guys want to get it on GOG, buying it on GOG will give me a small amount for bringing the traffic to their website. If you guys would like to get it on Steam, there's two ways that you can do that. Actually, Jesse Quill, if you're in chat, I'd love it if you would give your Humble Bundle link, because this game is published by Humble Bundle, and just looking at the quality... I should mention this, by the way. There have been some really good streamers that have found this game. I mean, they haven't found... they were given keys. I mean, Lottie is definitely on top of making sure that the right people are seeing this game. Because there are definitely some people who have done this game very well, and they really seem to have connected with it. This has always been my secret fear, that I sort of secretly thought, even though there's a bunch of people in the chat and that, or in like the Discord and things like that, I sometimes had this like really irrational fear that I was the only person who liked Cultist Simulator, who would like be in a position to like buy it or something like that. And it really seems like the game is finding its audience, that's wonderful. It's great to be able to share this. And one thing I'll say briefly, this just translated into a few people. I think people are following my stream off of that. I think they're just seeing a VOD or something like that, because I've seen some follows coming as a result. So if you're one of these people that saw it through like a recommendation, either through the Twitch or YouTube algorithm, let yourself be known. Feel free to say hi. I'd love to know how you guys found the cast, and if there's anything specific that you'd like to see. For those of you considering streaming this game, it's been wonderful. And do be sure to tweet Weather Factory, because on the chance that you get, especially if you're in hours that allow you, you'll see what wonderful people are behind this game. It's been wonderful to follow it. I'm super excited about this final version. I mean, clearly there's so much. We've not touched a ritual yet, but we've done an exploration. We found a way to drive some hunters crazy. It's been great. I'm sorry I lost Neville. We'll get him back. Oh, there we go. Thank you very much, Jess, for including that. So I was going to say, the big thing now is that there's people who, and I don't remember what the if was, Jess. But anyway, so if you want to buy it DRM free on GOG, that helps me out. If you do want a Steam copy, just know that you will be able to help out Jesse Quill by following that link there, humblestore.com/cultistsimulator, !partner equals Jesse Quill, so on and so forth. I believe she's also added her charity key to that. So in that case, you are helping her out through helping the charity. But I believe you can also decide. I can't remember how that works, but I know at some point you'll be able to allocate some money towards her. Anyways, you can of course get it on Steam. Even if you do get it on Steam, like I get it. If you want a Steam key, you can support another streamer that maybe you just want to buy it through Steam. That's fine. I will say that when you buy it on release, you are going to... Oh, okay, 5. Thank you very much for that sub. Awesome hurts a lot. I believe you will only be able to buy it on release at the end of the month, but K5, that is awesome of you. I know I'm keeping you late, but that's incredible. I believe this is the highest number of subscribers we've had at one point now, so that's great. And hurts a lot. That's cool. Thank you very much for letting me know that. But yeah, the important thing is, if you do buy this game, do make sure you get it in the first week. This is why I recommend you follow those links and you wishlist it. If you want to buy it on Steam, wishlist it on Steam. One way that you will help by buying it on Steam is that you help with the discoverability. If a bunch of people buy it on day one, it's going to climb up those trending charts, and that is so important. I cannot tell you, I've tried to get involved with more local developers and things like that, and there are people with perfectly good games who are vanishing off the face of the earth simply because there isn't a strategy for discoverability. They release their game, and within hours, it's off the list. So, let me just say, if you buy it off of Steam, that is fine. None of us do this to make a living off of it. None of us are getting rich off of... Well, okay, the people who are doing it to make a living off of it are the people who've made the game, and buying their game is how you can support them. Other than that, if you get it on Steam, you're going to help the discoverability on the largest platform. If you get it on Humble, you'll be able to help Jess and the charities that she is supporting. If you get it through me, obviously that will also support my cast, but as K5 let you know, there are other ways to support casters, including just being there, letting people know about letting people know about the stream, letting them know what things you like, what you'd like to see them do more of. There's lots of different ways to show that kind of support. But I do also want to say the reason why you want to know about this game being released ahead of time is not just to support Weather Factory and to support Cultist Simulator, but if you get it in the first week, you're going to get the version of the game that I have, which is the Perpetual Edition. This is what was available to people who supported the Kickstarter. The DLC for the game is entirely free for owners of the Perpetual Edition, or rather they have pre-purchase access to all of the DLC. Now, of course, that means I have a vested interest in seeing this game do well, because they will be doing some DLC, although I think there's already plans for some no matter what, although of course if the game is successful and people keep buying the DLC, no doubt they'll continue to do more. So, the deal is this. Think back to that time that you bought a Paradox game, and then you saw the DLC coming out, and the game was going to be upgraded and improved. It's all good things. But, it adds up after a while. And imagine you had the option of buying all the DLC for a Paradox game right away. You have that opportunity with Cultist Simulator, and my view is this. You can quote-unquote save money by buying the game when it goes on sale, but all that you're really doing is you're denying yourself this experience off the top, and if you like it enough to buy the DLC, all that you're doing is you're committing yourself to future purchases of that DLC, and likely, unless you get a really incredible return on your investments, you are likely saving yourself quite a bit more money by getting that DLC all packaged into the Perpetual Edition. And I think it would be safe to say that by looking at this game, you can look at the trailer, you can look at other streamers. I encourage you to check out other streamers. I know K5 and the Cool Eagle play this game on their streams, but as Eyes of Sin mentioned, there are some bigger streamers that are playing this game now. There's plenty of ways for you to find out whether or not this game is for you. Obviously, don't spend so much time that you're going to spoil the game for yourself and maybe discover things that you wanted on your own. But you're going to figure out whether or not, again, exploring this game and having it take place in your head and looking for different combinations and things like that. I think I'm going to take a screenshot of this. I like the way this desktop looks right now. Actually, I'm going to retcon the 1L. But yeah, there are lots of ways for you. There are bigger streamers, but Mr. Chalk is one of the most detailed, meticulous, and articulate out there. You are very kind. Oh, if you're in chat. Sorry, Jess. Well, I know sometimes you exercise. But yeah, anyways, guys, like I said, it would mean a lot to me if you support this game, if you find it interesting, because I am always on the lookout for small and interesting things like this. There are really, really great people behind it. Like, just as human beings, they have been an absolute pleasure. If I send a bug report, if I ask them something about the game, they've always been going through. Sophie, thank you. This is the sort of thing where being a fan of the game has definitely been added value in and of itself, so I'd love to see it succeed on that ground. As a gamer, I want to see more interesting stuff like this, and as a consumer, you get a chance to say, this is the sort of thing I want to see. If you have complained about DLC policies, reward something that says, you know what, this says that if I'm taking the risk of early adoption, I am going to get compensated in the form of DLC. Your wallet is one of the best tools that you have to communicate what you want to see in the games industry. And so, if this game interests you, make sure that you support it. And if you don't have the financial means of supporting it, I get it. I mean, I'm not that far out of school. But one of the great things that you can do is you can wishlist it. Somebody might buy it for you. Wishlisting it will also let other people know about the game. And obviously you as an individual hold a lot of weight amongst your friends in terms of, I'm going to pay attention to a game that somebody has followed much more. It's going to be much more likely than just some Twitter blast saying, hey, a game about cults is out. And tell people about it. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a moment where somebody says to me, it's like, hey, I saw this game that you might really enjoy, and I scream at them, what are you doing? I find my own games! Nobody ever does that. Everybody is looking for a cool new game, and it's meant a lot to have people like K5 and the Cool Eagle tell me that my enthusiasm let them know about the game. So obviously that's a little self-aggrandizing, sorry about that, but it means a lot. It's one of the reasons why I do this. So the subs are nice, the donations are nice, but being able to have a group of people to share this game with and such an active and kind community really does mean a lot. So thank you for that. I won't trespass on your time anymore. Let's take a second and find somebody to host tonight. Oh my God. We've got Johnny Big Time live right now. Johnny Big Time is one of my favorite streamers on Twitch. I swear, please, come with me on this raid. Johnny Big Time he's always got a good line to say. He's got a great personality. He's playing Far Cry 5 right now. If you guys did not get a chance to see the E3 press conference where this was announced, he was beside himself when he found out that there is a dog in the game. Johnny's a fantastic streamer. He's got a great sense of humor. He's easily one of my favorite people to watch. I will stop stuff to watch him. So the raid message is, we're tired of system talk, heard this place was better. I'm going to shut up. Please check him out. And we will see you all on Friday. I might do Battletech because of the power outage, but as always, I'll probably announce on Twitter what I finally decide. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.